God damn it! Why?
He told you he was going to hit the button. You would wait 2 seconds.
The countdown was to start the thing.
Oh, man. This is probably a better start anyway. This is way more apt to what we usually sound like.
Yeah, that was a shit show of a start, but we're here. We're going to be watching a pretty sick main card, one of the better main cards there's been in probably the last, 10 years or so. So that'll be good. And I guess there's been some activities happening since the last week when we did another one of these. So we can chat about that.
Thanks for introducing yourself, Nushan.
Got to do it, man.
Somebody had to step up.
Lance was supposed to be here today, but shock of the century. Yeah.
Brings a tear to my eye.
He may be suffering from things. You never know. It's Lance. He's never in great condition. So
he might show up.
But we got everybody else. We got 2 Canadians and 2 Americans. Brad made an appearance again. Brad loves talking about the old fights.
Even though this is not card, right? Old fights. We're running here. You said? All right, cool. Sorry, Brad. Didn't mean to step on your intro there, man.
No, I'm good. I enjoy these cards much more than the cards we see these days. So,
because you can go back and see if they were good or not.
Yeah, you could skip the crap ones and watch the fun ones.
Yep, and you didn't have to worry about your bets either.
Yeah,
that's gone and dealt with. Now you can actually just enjoy the fights.
So, maybe a little PTSD, but.
So last week we watched, what was that, UFC 140? Was that the number? It's hard to keep track of the number.
It was, yeah.
So that was apt timing, but we'll jump into that in a minute. But this week...
so that means Connor's going to do something next week.
Yeah, UFC 189. I'm seeing Thomas Almeida in the cage, and Brad Pickett's walking out now. Opening fight on the UFC 189 main card. So that's this week's card. That's what we're going to be watching. We'll queue up the timestamps once they're about to go. Nushan, what's your timestamp currently? I think I might be a little delayed.
Oh, not this shit again.
Nushan. Did he disappear?
He's muted.
I muted my shit. God damn it. I'm at 12 minutes flat right now.
All right, I'm 5 seconds behind. All right. You're at 12. No, too far.
12:10.
Yeah, 5 seconds behind.
How underrated is Brad Pickett?
He wasn't in very many boring fighs.
Do you remember when he fought Henan Barrow?
Do you remember? Didn't he beat Demetrius Johnson?
He was in
WEC, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's been in tough with some of the top guys that's been in that class, man. He's been in tough with a bunch of them.
Yep. Like the number doesn't look great if you look at it now. He's like 25-15 or something like that. I looked at it just before we did this card, but you go back and look at the fights, and he fought some good guys.
You saw a lot of good fights
too.
And speaking of coming in right there, how quietly good has Mike Brown become as an MMA coach?
Yeah,
he retired at the right time and switched his game up. That's for sure.
And he's one of those guys that seem to be really, really good at coaching.
So he was
the crazy thing is he probably makes way more now as a coach than he ever did as a fighter.
Yep, I bet. All right.
Especially with how successful a lot of those fighters have been.
The little graphic just popped up about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Nushan, what are you at, 13:35?
Yeah, a couple seconds ahead of that.
Brucey just started in his burgundy cranberry jacket. It's a thing of beauty.
This is a big card. This is supposed to be Aldo McGregor 1.
Since we didn't have a opening talk, what a lineup, how we lined up last week, and
Yeah.
The great one going all dumb shit again. Like, oh man.
I mean, the man, he loves getting like the Albuquerque police. How many encounters do you think he's had with the Albuquerque police over the years? How many were unreported?
He's good friends.
We probably saved that whole discussion for after this fight.
No,
okay, fine.
Bonkers.
Nushan, tell me your timestamp again.
He just started introducing Pickett.
14:30.
I'm 5 seconds behind still.
You can do it, Jay. I believe in you.
Got that Jersey coronavirus internet going on up there.
I'll go ahead.
Yo, how long is it before they start doing like those rolling brownouts that they do during the height of like air conditioning season?
Especially in like California. That was some fucked up shit last summer.
Oh man, I feel like Tommy Almeida is friend of the MMA Analysis.
He was streaking there for a while.
Yep, and fun.
He came around at the height of LFA. When everyone coming into when everyone looked at LFA as like the number one place for new fighters.
Yep.
Yeah, those were the days. I think he was like 18-0 when he entered the UFC.
Oh yeah, he was killing guys.
17 knockouts, 18 wins, something like that.
Murdering Brazilian dudes.
Yeah, a lot of dudes.
Jesus, yeah. He was always in good fights though because he was still vulnerable. He had a couple come from behinds.
Yeah, he was still unbeaten at this point, but didn't he get rocked in a previous fight?
Oh yeah.
A bunch of them. Like I remember a bunch of little Brazilian fights, but
even on the regional scene that was happening, and he would still.
What time are y'all at?
Oh, he clipped
3:42.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay's a bit ahead of us now.
Yeah, I'm a little ahead. How far ahead am I though? 10 seconds now?
2 seconds. Nothing.
Oh, okay. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
He threw nasty elbows.
Yeah.
You still don't see that much.
That was his thing.
Step through.
The problem is he got cut. He used to get cut so easily.
Well, he used to get hit a lot, so
yeah, that's a big part of it.
You get cut when you get hit a lot.
Some guys don't though, but other guys seem to.
That's a weird strike. That step in elbow.
Rocking up those $50 one at a time.
Oh. Yeah, Almeida just.
Why did he go for the takedown?
I mean, he even caught some pieces from Brad Pickett. Like
that knee too.
The writing kind of should have been on the wall there for a little bit, like doom.
Yeah. But he's just so fun.
Yeah,
and he fucking recovers like.
And
crazy.
he's young too.
Ooh.
Both these dudes are just leaking now.
Now he's ready to fight. This is the official start of an Thomas Almeida fight. Doesn't really start till he gets dropped.
We're at 2:15.
Mm-hmm.
He also does a lot of body punching, which is pretty. Yeah,
it's rare still.
Still rare, which is surprising to me. I always like a guy who does that. For as so mediocre of a fighter Brian Barberina is, he was always a guy I liked to focused a lot on body strikes, slowed opponents down.
Well, it worked for his game, right? Because he was a cardio guy. Oh, fuck. There's 3 knockdowns in the first 4.5 or 3.5 minutes fight.
Yep.
That knee almost landed. I think that would have been illegal.
Man, he's a bloody mess.
Well, I don't even. Where is he cut? Even
I don't even know.
A little nick on the bridge of his nose, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Is there all? But he has a lot of blood on his forehead though, so there could be a cut in the. I don't know.
Hairline.
Yeah, maybe 2. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of looks like there's one on the side of his head too.
Yeah, I think there might be 2 cuts.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
Pickett has
left
had
hook keeps getting them.
Pickett's had rounds like this against just so many good guys, man.
Yep.
Oh,
One of the best English fighters of all time in MMA.
Where did he what city was he?
Where is he from?
Yeah.
Newcastle, maybe?
he's definitely out in one of the country parts of it, I believe.
Oh my god. That
Born
left
in
hook
East
by
London.
Almeida.
Pretty sure he moved to Florida though, way back though, didn't he? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that fucking neat.
what time are you around on?
14 seconds.
Yeah, my shit fucking slow.
Jesus. Just all offense, no defense the whole entire round.
These are the best MMA fights.
Yeah.
And this one's actually highly skilled. It's not like a sloppy one. Fuck.
Everything that's
When I was
landing is
watching
just
this live, I
clean
remember-
technique and punch landing.
Yeah. When I watched this live, I remember thinking Pickett was beating him a whole lot more than he actually was.
I mean, he dropped him twice.
He dropped him twice.
Two or
like,
three. Was it
I
twice
still
or
think
three?
the strike was pretty even overall. Like
Yeah.
Almeida dropped once, and he was, I think, landing the bulk of the stuff.
Yeah, I wonder.
But that's probably because I also had a bet on Almeida, so I was like, "Oh
I
shit!"
think we,
it looks
I
like
think
we're
we
gonna
probably all
lose.
did.
Oh,
Left hook.
I think we rode that.
Oh,
train
that's where
for-
the cut was, maybe. On the knee.
Oof.
Oh.
Well, some blood's already on his knee, so there was something there already.
Just a short right hook there. Or overhand. Jesus.
All right, the second round is just about to start.
Yeah.
He's still bleeding out of the side of his nose. They didn't stop that cut.
I wonder if how many fights there've actually been three knockdowns in one round. That's got to be a fairly short list.
And then
Yeah.
it actually went to the second round?
And then, actually
Yeah.
continue to the next round. Yeah.
Well,
It wasn't
I
just one
remember
guy
when
getting.
Frank, he won. He was the first guy to ever get knocked down 3 times in the fight.
What was that?
Oh, walk off, jumping knee, switch knee. That is an unbelievable knee. That's
Man,
I
he
remember that happened, but I didn't remember that it was so sudden in the second
Neither
round.
did I. I agree. I thought it was. I didn't know it was a walk off. I forgot.
that was a beautiful.
He smacked
knee
the back
walk-off.
of his head so hard he woke back up pretty quickly. Like he was like blacking for a second. It was like, huh?
Yeah, that guy in the
Jesus.
crowd would be a good reaction gif.
Oh, yeah, the knee.
Oh my god, there's not
yeah.
many cleaner knees.
Big John got in there pretty
Going
fast,
up.
though.
Oh, right on
Oh,
the jaw.
Look, he
He's
gets right
out.
back up. That's
Big
quick
John
and back.
almost took off Brad Pickett's head when he jumps over him.
Oh,
Man.
You see it.
the way his face ripples when he hits. Man, this is.
But
sick.
he is in La La Land.
Watch
He
Big
is
John
staring
jump
at
over.
Watch out.
this.
That
Big John almost took him out for a second time with his foot because he didn't realize he was going to get up so quickly doing that Undertaker pop up.
Jesus Christ. That was a very violent 6-minute fight.
Oh.
not bad.
Brad Pickett's had a bunch of these though, where he's looked good early and then like kind
Even
of.
his- That was his last fight in the UFC, his retirement fight. He
What about the Marlon Vera fight? Or is that the one you're talking
he
about?
dropped him, didn't he?
Marlon Vera?
Was that his retirement fight? in
He
the
was
UFC?
he was like winning that fight.
I
for a
remember
round
he
or something.
Yeah, he
Not
was.
that
He,
he's definitely
he
winning.
was. He wasn't crushing him, but he was definitely winning. And then he got fucking head kicked and
Yeah, I
knocked
had
out
money on
in the
Vera
third
in that
round.
fight.
Minute 10 left. Like he was gonna win his retirement fight,
Yep.
and then just gets fucking smashed out.
Was that Vitor Belt? That's not Vitor.
It's because he'll never just coast, baby. The
Yeah.
dude's always throwing down.
Man, the difference between Rogan at UFC 189 versus UFC 140 is like night and day human. Like, wow. Like, somewhere in that, at some point, I got to figure out
Is
the
that
time.
a scar on the back of his head?
on Rogan.
That's from when he got hair. You never heard his story about his hair transplants?
That's where he got the injection.
I thought I heard something about that, but I thought it was just some bullshit. Really?
No, he talks about it. Get
the fuck out of here.
Man, that's where they hook in the HGH.
Straight to the mainframe.
Wow, that is a really big scar. I never noticed this before either.
Yeah, that's from his.
Because we never see the back of his head. It's always sitting there with.
I heard something about a hair transplant thing, but I just thought it was bullshit.
No, he's talked about it a bunch of times on his podcast.
Well, apparently, it was a failed hair transplant.
Yeah, he said it just looked like shit, so he fucking bailed, and then he started just shaving his head. So
Almeida had 2 cuts. He had the one on the side of his nose, and then one on the hairline.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Jesus Christ, that knee.
And Big John, he didn't miss him by much. He really didn't.
Almost put a shin to his forehead.
Yeah, that would have been. He's like, eh. Oh.
Yikes.
I feel like flying are the most dynamic knockouts, though. There aren't many of them, but they are. Yeah, they seem to be the most vicious.
That and just head kicks. Head kick knockouts.
Well, the knees got to be more powerful,
ones
right?
Are I think more violent. There definitely is some violent head kicks, but those knees, like a Askren.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yolo
but then you got
doing
stuff like
Weidman.
You got stuff like Edson doing spinning. There's just
the spinning one. Yeah.
There's variations of a head kick knockout that's just
Jesus.
But I agree. Yeah, I mean, like the fucking Jeremy Stevens one. I mean,
yeah.
There's Mendez, fucking magma flowing.
Wes is way behind us again.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's
Jay,
slow.
You wanted to talk about John Jones.
Oh yeah, but the next fight is Gunnar.
Yeah, they got to do
Brandon
intros.
Thatch.
We can bullshit about that fight while it's happening.
What y'all?
We know who they are. Gunnar Nelson's like good,
26,
weird,
26,
does
15,
karate, and Brandon Thatch is a failure in
26-50.
So
15.
Remember when Brandon Thatch fought Ben Henderson and was like completely whooping Ben and then just like fell apart? People were really high on Brandon Thatch at that point.
Really high, and then it kind of became a trend.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, we'll talk. I guess we can go back to Dwight. Brad, do you want to start off on this?
I don't really have a big opinion because like I don't even know the full story here. I don't really care about MMA news enough to research it.
He's just a fuck up.
Yeah,
the dude is.
He doesn't care.
He's the best and keeping out of trouble when he's fighting every 3 months. And we saw that for a bit last year, but obviously now with what's going on, that's not happening. He can't really train. That's when he gets himself into trouble.
It's clear to me that he just wants to do what he wants, and he'll just deal with the ramifications later because he never really gets in real trouble.
I know. Which, once again, I think there's some people.
He has great lawyers.
That made some...
He's got great lawyers.
Yeah, he does.
The amount of money he has.
A police department around there too, so I think that they let him off with a lot of shit like that because he like donates time and shit and does shit for the police department. But man, look, everything that everybody's pretty much said, most of what everybody said about John this week is very true. But addiction is a scary fucking thing, man. And when you don't have everything's on John. You got to take personal responsibility. Don't get me wrong, but the strong people in his life around him that are cashing checks on his skills and his career should probably look in the fucking mirror a little bit because taking, like I said, it's all personal responsibility, no doubt. But if you truly care about your friend, your pupil, your training partner, somebody should probably tell him, look, man, You don't get to come here unless you go to legit rehab. You know,
he has two brothers.
The problem with him is he doesn't give a fuck.
I'm talking about all the people in his life.
He has two brothers that are also professional athletes that have made. I think Arthur might have stopped playing football, but I think if they're making millions of dollars a year, they're not getting the same kind of trouble that John is, though.
I mean, one of his younger brother did. Chandler Jones got in trouble. He was on some spice and shit and got all fucked up.
Not 5 or 6 times though.
But that's where addiction comes into it, and the people around him should recognize that he's got a problem. That dude's got a legitimate problem with drugs and alcohol.
It's not even. It's that. Yes, I'm not gonna say it's not just that, but
he's
clearly a womanizer, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, like half of men are, especially rich, famous athletes. Like 90% of them are. That's beside the point. They still stay out of trouble, you know. If you've never witnessed legit addiction firsthand, watching your family members steal from their own mothers and shit like that, it's legitimate, man. And I'm not trying to take up for Bones anymore. That dude's got to take responsibility for all this shit. It's not on them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if they legitimately care about him, and it's just not about. Like if his wife and brothers and family want him to be able to take care of his kids, they need to fucking talk some sense into him and get his ass into some.
Wow, I feel like they probably should have said something 3 times ago.
And maybe they have.
Yeah,
maybe they have, but it's getting to the point to where like, dude, you know,
like he just shouldn't be driving. Like, why is he driving? He should have enough money to get a driver.
I never understood this about people that are super wealthy. If you're making you're making $1 million a year. Okay, maybe you don't want to have someone on like full staff, but someone like John's making $5 million plus a year. There's zero reason why you can't have someone on your staff paying them like, I don't even know what, $75,000, $100,000, whatever ultimately it is, like that they're going to be there like as just your driver. Like, come on, dude. Like, not even never mind just using Uber. Like, literally having someone who picks you up and drops you off.
No questions asked. Like,
for me too, that would be almost like kind of a business. If you're looking at it like you're his trainer and Jim and Jackson and other, like that would be almost like a business decision. Like, look, you know, we're gonna pay for your travel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not driving no more. You're gonna have a driver.
Or Melky, yeah. I mean, he's got to do a better job too.
There's people around him that should be stepping in. There really should.
That's the agent, man. I feel like that's like the coach of the agent. The agent's literally the one with the vested interest in keeping this guy like.
His coaches too. It's his coaches too that they're making money off of his name. You know, the greatest fighter on the planet trains at my gym. You know.
I mean, would things change if John switched to American Top Team or? I don't know, AKA or some other.
At this point, I wouldn't think it was I think it's probably a good idea. I mean,
I would force his hand if I was Jackson or one of them. If you really cared about him, be like, look, you're not training here unless you get help. And if he wants to leave and go somewhere else, that's his personal decision. Then it's all on you. You know, you did what you could. You could look yourself in the mirror and say, I did what I could at this point. You know, I
mean, John looks like a fighter, and you know, we've seen this his last few fights where he looks like a guy who's been at his job for 10 years, and the last couple of years he's just not that interested. Like clearly, like very talented, can do things, but just not motivated to take it to the next level.
I mean, but also if you're not getting a challenge to take it to the next level, then
I mean, again, that all plays the part.
But the other side of that is the guy never stays out of trouble unless he's training for a fight and has a fight coming up. You know, you see what happens when he's not got a fight coming up. Like the dude can't keep himself together anymore. But then when he fights, like Brad said, if it's not some guy that he legitimately thinks is as good as him standing across from him, which
I don't think John talks to or really that friendly with any of the other fighters. And Herb is out there. We're about to start round 1.
Jenny Andrade.
She might be the best one.
she's top 2 for me.
Let me know when it starts.
Yeah,
it just started. We're at 4:55.
Yeah, perfect.
Gunner only had one
actually ending for once.
Well, there was that really weird Gunner fight with Ponzi Scheme.
That was recent, right? Was that his last fight?
Was
a
it?
couple fights ago?
It seems like it could have been his last fight or second to last fight, but it seems like it was longer. That was the one with the weird eye poke and then the knockout.
Thatch, man, this dude like built for fighting and shit, and has the gas tank of a fucking 76 Pinto.
He looks thinner than he had previously.
He's a big fucking welterweight.
He's huge, man. If you can make 170 with that frame, that dude should have been insane, man.
Well, Gunner's a small welterweight.
He should have just gone up to 185.
Yep, that's probably a guy that could went up and had been,
especially when he was young.
Big. Yep.
Because a lot of
it's starting to get a little more guys are doing that now, man.
Yeah.
I don't get killing yourself when you're like, they're just thinking I'm going to be so much bigger than these guys down here, but
sometimes it doesn't matter.
A lot of the time it doesn't now if you don't have a gas tank.
in certain weight classes it works. I think
the
heavier you get, the better it works.
Knockouts nowadays, though.
Yeah,
so.
that 170 to 185 is seems like it's paid off big time for a couple guys. They got big frames.
Oh, instant mount.
But the fact that Gunnar Nelson dropped Brandon Thatch,
and this is why he never worked out, because
once
he was on the ground, ooh,
fish.
Yeah, he was a fish. That Ben Henderson fight told a lot. That was a really interesting fight because Ben was so much smaller than Brandon Thatch. But once he got to like round 3 and the gas tank came in the question, it was a totally different fight.
Man, just speaking of somebody that just
what was that? Was that Henderson's first fight going up to 170?
Yeah, it was to 170. Yeah,
it was the main event in Colorado. I think it was like a Valentine's Day weekend or President's Day, maybe President's Day weekend, whatever year that was.
Ooh, OBC country.
Yeah. Originally, I think it was supposed to be Cerrone in the main event against. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, that's just getting dominated on the ground.
I mean, but to be fair, this guy's one of the best. He's an upper echelon.
For sure, but you could also put.
But this wasn't the only time it happened to him.
I mean, Gunnar is pretty good back control.
Didn't he get? Thatch ended up getting choked out by.
Oh my god! He just
one arm.
He could have almost one-handed tapped.
Wow, it was one arm.
It was. Was it? I think he ended up putting in the second.
I don't think so.
Jesus.
That's unbelievable.
All right, because McGregor and him, I forgot about that.
In terms of back take and body locks, like that, Gunnar's probably in the top 10 in MMA. I will say that Chiesa is probably in the top 5 in terms of back control, though.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable from that position.
That guy gets your back here in some serious trouble.
And I'm trying to think of other guys in that position. Meerkat's pretty good from that position, too.
The 125er. Who's the 125er that's good at that?
125er.
Who backpacks people?
Ray Borg?
No, he's Brazilian.
No, it's
not Tor.
Juicy.
No.
Formiga.
Yeah,
Formiga's pretty good from there.
He doesn't get as many subs, but he's got his control if he gets your back.
But he's more of a transition guy, though. He's always moving around, kind of like Ray Borg, like always moving positions and quickly taking the back, switching around.
Are we watching the chat? Oh, I haven't even looked at the chat. Fucking Ivan.
I haven't been there.
You fucking prick.
I got to go on the YouTube chat.
Well, we'll always have fucking first night in Vegas this year. Man.
That's your recent one, Wes?
Best dice roll I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah, the first night we was in Vegas this year, we went down to I believe it was the Flamingo or something because they had $10 tables. And some dude, man, that never, seriously, it's another one of those stories. Guy never rolled dice in his life. And his buddy was like, he was going to pass him to his buddy. And he was like, nah, man, roll. You never rolled before. And yeah, man, he rolled for probably 30 minutes, dude. Like, I had like $75 on every number. 6, 9, 10, 4, all of them. Me, Corey, and Ivan, man, the whole table, dude. I ended up winning like $2,200 or something like that.
Jesus.
One roll, dude. One guy's roll, $2,200. best dice roll I've ever seen in my life, and that was my weekend.
That's a long time. Like, it doesn't sound like that much. That's a long time.
I hope Ivan was picking for free the rest of the weekend.
I couldn't tell you how many points he rolled, man. Just pointing in numbers. Like I said, I was pretty much at about like $75-$80 on every number. So literally every 6, every 8, every 9, it was wild.
Ivan's response to your thing is pretty funny.
The kid was throwing dice like Tom Brady. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, like, I couldn't.
Was he wasted?
No, he was stone cold straight, man. I couldn't tell you how many times he rolled the dice off the table because he just didn't even know how to throw them smoothly. And usually
that casino had to have been pissed, just fucking shelling out money, and this guy's fucking throwing dice off the table.
Usually when the dice go off the table too, you're like, take my bets off until the next row. Nobody even did that. You don't even do nothing. Just give him that dice back.
That's
the ultimate proof of how ridiculous luck and nothing else but luck that game is.
Yep.
Bermudez Stevens, the next fight. I feel like both of these guys are friends of the MMA Analysis Podcast. I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah.
Especially Stevens. I know Bermudez is, he's had he's keeping it to himself.
I feel like if we went back to the time of this card and did a podcast, we would be very excited about the card.
Yeah, we were.
I didn't.
This is like a pure violence.
I should have listened to the podcast for 189. And then done the rewatch.
Looking at the top 10, the top 10 in this division at the point: Chad Mendez, Frankie Edgar, McGregor, Ricardo Lamas, Max Holloway, Swanson, Drew Bronx, Dennis Bermudez, Nick Lentz, and Clay Guida. Then Jeremy Stevens and Hakron Diaz. I mean, all those guys are pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, Bronx. Oh man.
Well, I think at the time we were saying this was the best division.
It may it's up there.
Yeah, it was definitely between.
I think bantamweight's the best division.
They are my favorite divisions, though, and like I love me looking back and those fuckers like, why y'all watch those midgets fight and how y'all like that shit and that fight. It's seriously 5 years ago. I mean, how they wanted all. How many?
Oh, the worst. They just taught people just blah blah blah.
It's straight up the most skilled guys in MMA now.
Yeah. I think bantamweight's the best division in the UFC. I really do. There's so much talent, and it's young.
Yeah, if the champ ever fights,
that's the problem. I mean, you got Magic, you got the Magic Man.
You say that in lightweight too.
Peter Yan, my boy, Brad.
He's running. He's running.
Jay, he's scared. He's scared.
That's
that's not true.
He's scared of the Rona.
Scared of a little flu.
I think Tony Ferguson might be a little afraid of.
I can knock out Tony. I can't knock out the Corona.
Justin Gaethje could absolutely beat Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, I would take that fight.
That's the best
Is
fight.
Is that fight actually happening?
If I was Ferguson, I wouldn't take that fight. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm waiting for a title.
That is a lose-lose situation right there for Ferguson.
Yeah.
Probably, because he wouldn't get either one.
The amount of money that the UFC would pay him just to take that fight is not worth what he could
I hear
lose.
you. Yeah, I hear you, man.
It's the best fight in MMA currently.
I hear you.
It's the most entertaining. Right. It's chaos. It's awesome.
Yep.
If Ferguson doesn't take pretty much whatever's offered to him, but probably some good money, he's not going to get a title shot. He's going to have to take the fight they give him. It's going to be a big fight, I think, and going to pay him a lot, but he's going to have to take it.
Not enough to risk it against a guy like that.
Honestly.
I mean, if I was Tony,
I feel like Dana's going to be one of those guys that's demanding like a specific day that everything opens back up again so he can be the first to do something.
Definitely going to try to be the first. There's no doubt.
It's like a personal mission to him now. He set his sights on it, and he's going to try his fucking darndest to make it work.
Did Stevens just start walking out for you guys?
Yeah. I think they do an event in May.
Oh, he's seriously on the wrong side of this one, man. Like he is a fucking joke.
This isn't gonna look good.
These guys aren't even training normally.
That's the fucked up thing.
Yep.
They can't train properly, so why do we just want to watch them?
Can you imagine how much good like a universal basic income would do for fighting? Like if you gave these dudes just like a couple $1,000 a month, pay their living expenses, then guys could actually focus on fighting, and fighters would be good.
What's minimum wage for a salary? That's what. Just give them that.
If the issue is the amount of money you're doling out, just have less fighters. I'm sorry, but there's no reason to have a.
Yeah, but they got to have the events, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, there should be a thing how there is in every other sport. They should have collective bargaining, and the biggest stars and the best guys that draw get the big bucks. But the people on the bottom get a decent share of the slice of the the shit, and they're paid an okay living. That's how fucking sports work.
Cherokee Park's got to get paid.
Tony Pudding's got to get something too.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nico Montano's got to get fucking.
I mean, do we really need to have
Volkswagen dog?
Do we really need a 13 or 14 fight card? Like, is that really necessary?
Nope.
I'd rather have more cards, less fights on a card. If that was
especially with everything, like most of it being on ESPN Plus now. Like,
it shouldn't matter.
10 fights a card. How you could cut off just so much fat that way.
If you had 8 and then an extra fight that was just there just in case something fell out, you could do a whole card in 4 hours. 2-hour main card, 2-hour prelim, you're done. Period. Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should never be like 6-7 hours of fights going till
it's a long day, man.
Yeah, 6:30 Eastern time to.
But by their perspective,
1 in the morning,
if they add all those extra fights, they're adding that many more fighters, and there's less chance that one of the good guys is going to slip through to another organization.
And they got to sell advertising. I mean, yes, it's on ESPN Plus in the States, but everywhere else it's not. So they're still selling advertising, right?
I mean that's I'm sure that plays a factor.
Yeah,
it's just
there's money coming from all over. Yeah, different deals, and then that's content for ESPN later on too that they can throw on ESPN too. On the Saturday we're replaying the prelims from.
Yep.
They do that constantly too.
But you can't be telling me that there's additional revenue to be made by having, say, fights 10, 11, and 12 on a card versus cutting it off at 10. You're selling extra tickets. There's going to be extra revenue because those 3 extra fights are on a card. I'm sorry.
Aren't you in the marketing?
Yeah, an extra hour programming.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
What's an hour and a half? What's an hour and a half of television?
Yeah. But it's not TV though.
It is though. Other places it is.
They're showing the very, very early prelims.
Yeah, like even Canada, y'all get a lot of y'all's prelims on a regular channel, right?
Our prelims are on TSN.
Yeah, on TSN.
Yeah, so the big fights are on TSN.
Prelims?
There are still a couple of Fight Pass prelims, but like there's usually
the amount of money that's being generated by the salaries or the fight the wages that you're paying the fighters. I mean, I'm not sure that
they're giving them $4,000.
I think
they don't have to make a whole lot extra.
No, remember, there's no way to win. So some of these guys are making 15, 20 grand. The winner gets an extra. There is, but like.
Those prelims, some of those prelim motherfuckers are getting 2 and 2 and shit, man.
No, not in the UFC. They're not getting 2 and 2.
Yeah, there's some. I'm telling you,
2 and 2, not a chance, Wes.
There's some 2 and 2, 4 and 4 guys on some of the bottom of those cards, man.
Not anymore, man.
Then, like you said, if they
minimum is like 18 and 18 now.
I think
it's got to be lower than that.
No,
it's got to be lower than that.
It's 18 and 18 now.
Wes is right. But so it's 18, right?
I don't believe it.
I don't.
Steven's missed weight by.
But that doesn't count the under the table bonuses.
Technically,
to talk about
those don't exist.
All the points, all those points,
I think you guys
no credits.
The reason there's so many fights
gave me a buffet ticket. It's
a control thing, right? It's so that other companies aren't getting the fighters, and they cast a wider net for the biggest star. I mean,
they get them under.
I know, of course, I'm right.
Fight contract, and all they got to do is like.
That's what I said in the beginning.
Well, I said you're right.
All they got to do is like offer some of them guys fights. They could offer them any of the shittiest fight they want. It's like every 8 months or something like that, 6 or 8 months.
Yep.
I've been saying some of these guys are probably Burger King managers by day and UFC fighters by night. Hey man,
I mean, there's legit warehouse workers,
bouncers, bro.
Yeah,
everyone wants to be able to pack a Whopper, man.
Well, Jay, they gotta pay for their food somehow.
That's fair.
Bermudez Stevens is just about to start.
Just starting?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop open a lighter beer now. That stout was delish.
Got my belly full.
The peanut butter stout. I'll have to grab a couple good beers for next week.
Yeah. I gotta get them myself.
Stevens fought on one of the cards in Edmonton, and that was when Trish was up, and Trish knows him, so we went and hung out with him after his fight. That's pretty sweet.
Nice. Did anybody come up to you in the bar and offer advice on leg kicks?
No, unfortunately.
How is Stevens bleeding?
Nobody had the balls to do that, Brad.
Oh, was there a headbutt?
I didn't see what happened there. Oh,
I think it was a headbutt.
That's probably the most rocked Stevens had been at that point.
Nah, I think it was a headbutt.
He got clipped with overhand right
the second one wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
But Stevens had like a granite chin.
Oh, yeah. He had one of the best chins in MMA. I would argue he still does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like some Jeremy Stevens, but man, one of my favorite wins over the past few years is Aldo. Rib roasting that motherfucker, man. That was, God, I still.
Absolutely.
That's Brad's guy. Brad, is that your favorite fighter?
Aldo?
He's up there for you.
I think so.
I saw that fight live.
Especially now that they try to piss on his legacy like he's some fucking has been.
That's tough, man. I mean, anytime you start you're not your prime anymore. People have recency bias. It's unfortunate. Like Frankie Edgar's the same way.
I just think that take out of everything he's done ever, which is unbelievable. He arguably beat the fucking top 3 guy in a new division his last fight out.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like,
but
that's pretty fucking good.
But Max Holloway wiped the floor with him, so that's what people remember. It's unfortunate. And obviously the McGregor fight.
Yeah, I was live for that
I could
fight.
argue that Prime Auto beats both of those guys. That's for another day.
Well, we know about the psyche issue with the McGregor fight.
I think that
leg kicks
at his best,
it'd be a different story.
If a fighter, I'll say this: if a fighter with the same skill set as McGregor, without all the fanfare and the hoopla, was in the cage with them, I think it's a completely different fight. But that's not how it works.
Yes.
I don't know. I just think McGregor just that was one of those fights where he caught him.
Aldo looked nervous. If you look at his face walking to the cage, there's so much anxiety and so much nerves. I don't think if it's just a normal fight with a guy with that same skill set,
I don't really believe in any of that shit.
I do.
Maybe coming out and stuff, but once they say let's get it on, I just think a lot of that stuff goes out.
He's fucking overextended though. That was a bad.
Yeah, I think
I've never seen him do that.
He made a mistake for sure.
Fight. That ain't.
Well, I would say that Aldo at his best.
That's anger.
Aldo at his best is probably the greatest defensive fighter that we've ever seen in MMA all around.
Yeah,
his wrestling defense, his striking defense, he was incredible.
His wrestling defense is one of the best I've ever seen.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
I think you're spot on with that, man. There's an argument to be made that he's the best defensive fighter ever in that timepiece right there.
Man, Jeremy Stevens is crimson.
He's like looking like giving a fuck.
He's looking like Braveheart over there,
man.
Does Bermudez got a fight scheduled?
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
Oh shit!
Oh, get him!
Is that Turk?
Yeah, it gotta be.
Yep.
Big Turk.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a nasty cut.
Bermudez is our kind of fighter, though. Like, they're just his style, kind of like a tank wrestler, tough guy.
He has
we usually like those kind of guys on this show. Yeah.
Ooh. He's looking up at his own cut.
One of the best fights of all time, though, was Bermudez and Matt Grice. If you guys remember that fight, I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah, that's
a wild
an all-timer.
That was only a few months before Grice went through the accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, that was an all-timer fight, though.
Is this still the first round?
Yep, it just
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a bad cut.
Oh yeah, that's a fighting cut. Those are the ones that don't even hurt though. Those cuts, they're like in that sweet spot. It's just kind of gooey.
It's not too bad. At least it doesn't look like it's going.
I mean, I got stitches in basically that same spot twice, and it's just like you don't feel a thing.
What did you do to get that, Jay?
Twice. I was a kid. The first time I was a kid, I fell, I tripped and hit my head on concrete, cut that open. The second time I was playing basketball.
Yeah, it was a headbutt.
Second time I was playing basketball, part of a company team, and I was guarding a guy, and the guy did a spin move, and I saw it coming, and I was waiting. No, I was waiting for him for the spin move, and his like head moved forward, and he just caught me like a headbutt, and just opened the whole thing up. But yeah, I just remember the blood dripping. I didn't feel it. It was just like, oh, yeah, it just bled. It was open, and yeah.
Yeah, that was a headbutt, eh?
But yeah, that area that does not hurt. Like, it's like, yeah. Just
looks nasty.
It looks nasty, and obviously the blood can drip into the eye, which makes it difficult to see, potentially.
Wes, you're like 10 seconds ahead of us.
But I think
that fucking calf kick.
But I think if you took like a poll of like 1,000 people who've had stitches in their life, probably the number one place to have stitches is probably that right by the eyebrow.
I've gotten them on. I've gotten them on my chin.
On your shin?
My chin twice.
Oh, how?
Being a kid and trying to jump off the side of the tub into the bathtub, and my feet just slip out from under me and came down on my chin. Went and got stitches, and then like a week later, did it again.
You got it a week later.
Yeah, busted it.
Where
right
are you guys
back
at
open.
the fight? Holy shit.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Yeah.
But how did you just talk through all that shit?
I'm watching. They're ranting.
I haven't heard a lot about Eric Del Fierro in a while, but he was at one point considered one of the top coaches in the sport.
Well, that's because Dominic Cruz never fights.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dominic Cruz is pretty much retired. I don't even want to hear about that guy fighting again.
Yeah. So
the fight with Dillashaw back in the day was great, though. The one in Boston. Yeah.
That was a very surprising fight.
When people didn't realize Dillashaw was on the take.
Yeah. Oh, that fight. Yeah. Never mind that. Yeah, that was.
You know what I mean? Ecto cooler.
This is a wild fight.
Most of them are.
Isn't the take when you're getting like bribed?
Yeah.
I thought
Brad, it worked multiple ways, Brad.
Ooh.
Bermudez doesn't want to be going punch for punch with Stevens.
This is not his ideal fight because.
Stevens has had a lot of bangers though. The fight with Doo-Ho Choi was a great one.
Yep. Yeah, he goes
in Dos Anjos knockout. That was his first
broke
thing.
His jaw. Yeah.
I gotta watch that. I haven't seen that in forever.
That's an old one.
What was the
that?
fight?
That is one hell of a knockout.
Which fight?
Oh shit!
Out of jail.
Yeah, Stevens.
I would have to look it up.
What fight was that where Dana got him out of jail? Didn't he end up?
Oh yeah, what was that?
He didn't end
up fighting,
talking about how the fight wasn't canceled and all that shit.
What fight was that?
He didn't end up fighting, right?
No.
Okay.
No, but, I gotta look.
No, that was one of Dana's fails.
I think it was
right,
I think it was his fight against Eve Edwards.
Yeah, I think so. And he was like, Dana's like, I'm getting him out. He's fighting. And then fucking that's right. How that went.
I thought he got him out and he still fought. I spoke too much about it.
Eve Edwards.
For anyone that's watching that hasn't seen Eve Edwards knock out Josh Thompson,
That's a classic.
Go watch that.
I watched it not too long ago.
Watch this for now because this is awesome. And then continue to watch us and then go watch that.
Also a fighter in the tournament in Warrior.
Jesus Christ. Classic movie, Warrior.
I watched it a couple weeks ago. That was good. Kurt Angle is the supposed to be number one guy in the world. It's good stuff.
Can you imagine an alternate universe where Kurt Angle does MMA and Brock Lesnar stays in wrestling?
Who's that now? Who'd you say does MMA?
Kurt Angle.
Oh. I mean, dude,
he probably is champion, Wes. He probably would have been.
Hey, look, I'm not. If Angle gets into that shit right out of fucking wrestling, absolutely.
When did he have his neck surgery, though?
Back then.
How old is Angle? I gotta look this up.
When did he have his neck surgery, though?
53.
Okay, so that's 2020. He won the Olympics in '96, so he was 29 in '96.
I have no idea. I'm just that's my guess. Is that 53.
I don't think he's that old. But I'm gonna look it up.
Nah, he's probably right around 50 though.
Ain't you're right. He might be. He's 51. So he was super young. And at 2000, he would have been 31. He easily could have taken up MMA at that point.
That was when it was gritty as fuck, though.
I mean, go against like Mark Kerr, that era, like Coleman, like he wrestles those guys. Coleman didn't get off anything on him.
That's right around the time though that you couldn't just be a ground and pound guy. That's when that shit started switching.
Wrestling was so good.
But guys started getting around it. They started learning takedown defense. They started learning shit on the ground, get ups and shit.
Like that though.
Before
that's when guys really started using the cage too.
Yeah, but before then, guys like Kurt Angle were champions, like Mark Coleman and those guys like that. Take a guy down and just beat on him. That could win you a title.
I mean, Lesnar was a champion without really not a lot. He didn't really have a lot of striking.
Lesnar's a freak.
I know he was an athletic. Yeah, he was special athletically.
That guy, he's fucking just different, man.
That's probably like the big what if of MMA heavyweights.
If Kurt Angle did it?
No, if Lesnar did it from
the beginning
instead of going to like if there's somehow enough money in it back in the day for him to do that instead of WWF. Ooh. That guy would have been champion for like 15 years.
I never even really liked Brock at all, but yeah, that guy was a fucking freak.
Body was,
All right.
Whew. I guess we probably should watch the third round of this.
Yeah.
It's been a ridiculous fight.
Yeah.
How many cuts does Stevens have? There's at least 2, maybe 3.
Bermudez has a couple too, I think.
And he always slows down in round 3, Bermudez. Almost always.
Did Bermudez have a sketchy chin before this? Yeah, he still seems pretty good. Did he have a sketchy chin before this?
What?
Not super.
Yeah, like I just remember
he's always been a pretty tough guy.
It is.
2 flying knees.
Jumping. That's like a fadeaway jumping knee. Like he was going backwards and throwing.
I mean that's unique. That's a knee all of his. That's
there's Lorenzo fighting. Like
that's seriously that's a knee KO out of Jeremy Stevens' own right there, man.
Mike Tyson? Oh, this is good stuff.
Like I don't know if we've ever seen a guy like Sean said kind of fade away knee and straight up almost fucking. I don't remember seeing that too many times.
Jesus. Yeah.
Guys are usually going forward, you know.
Is that the only fight card or main card that's ever had 2 knees?
I think so.
Probably.
I think so.
Assume so.
I would imagine, right?
Jeremy Stevens is the dude that in like ancient Rome would still be like 55 years old and a gladiator and loving it.
Yeah, he loves fighting.
That is a fucking sick knee.
That's one of his own, man. I can't remember another one quite like that.
Outside of Donald Cerrone, I'm not sure there's anyone who likes.
Usually guys are either dipping.
And he landed like every strike on the ground too. That's just the cherry on top. Fucking flatlines this guy with a flying knee and lands every single ground and pound strike.
Look at the coach.
The ref gets in there.
Look at the coach. Look at his coach. He's like, oh.
Jeremy Stevens is only 33 years old. Can you believe that?
I cannot. He's been around forever.
Yeah.
He's probably going to fight for another 5 years too. Like this guy, it's going to be hard to get.
He's probably going to fight long after that, man.
Was Mike sitting beside Lorenzo there?
Very
Mike
close.
Tyson?
Yeah, I don't know if they were next to each other, but they were close. Yeah. And Weidman
he looked well. If that was him, he looked impressed.
He definitely was impressed.
Man, I wish that Yair fight with Stevens was a 5-rounder instead of the Reyes Weidman fight.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a sick fight. It was pretty damn good after 3, and it seemed like the tide was turning. But
I don't really hear his interview.
Yeah, that was ridiculous from Stevens.
Man, there's so much blood on his training kit.
His training kit?
You mean his
That's the fight.
Kit?
That's the
fight
fight.
Kit?
Call it what you want. It looks
Remember
like
when they were telling fighters that they were going to get a percentage of those got sold? That theirs got.
I mean, they got like a percentage of a percentage.
Yeah.
Thanks for the $20,
fucking 10 of
Dana.
them. Like, there's no way that many fighters sold more than a couple hundred of those.
the UFC could totally make this thing work if they really tried. Like,
I
give the
think-
guys a little bit of credit, work with an artist, do something like, okay, one side, make it more
Just
professional. One
basic
side,
as fuck.
do something. Like, you can make this thing work even with the system that it's in. There's a way to do it.
I'd be willing to wager that I own a specific one that only his friends and family own. I'm telling
Talking
you.
about the king.
I'd almost be ready
I
to
feel
bet
like
some money
you
on
should
that.
they probably had the setup for you to order any fighter that's been on the roster in UFC history.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy.
They're just like, please order something, anything. We'll print anything on these things by this point.
Get the hot dog grillers.
Oh man, yeah. Supposedly the contract's up at the end of this year, I think, like 2020. Now I don't
Interesting.
know what's gonna happen if Reebok signs up again. I don't know if that's.
Rory.
They'll go-
that's-
they'll
I
give-
don't think it matters. Like, if it's not Reebok, it's going to be some other
It'll be
company
one-
that
it'll
probably
be
does
one,
the same thing. right?
Under Armour or somebody to jump into
Yeah.
I
it.
just hope they would do a little bit more than
They'll-
what they do.
They'll get Dana and them will get a little bit more money from the next deal, and they'll fucking give them a couple fucking pennies and pocket the rest. Straight up,
Fuck. Yeah.
they do that shit.
And they said this sport was run by crooks in Japan.
Crooks here.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! We got the fancy octagon
What?
signage and.
Damn, I need some shrooms. Where's my boy at?
Fuck! I don't. Have they done this since?
Nah, I don't remember seeing this again, but
This
I
is
don't
probably when
remember
I-
this happening on this one. So
Well, this got big. Like they were starting to do
They've done
it
it since.
like some hockey playoffs and stuff like that. It definitely became a big thing a couple years ago.
I
And
know
then
they
do
did.
it in basketball and shit like that as well. So maybe
they
that
always
was,
did special shit for Connor fights. So like he's had other special shit. Remember the mist and shit they did for him.
Well,
and
this one, he does the singer does his walkout.
oh, no,
Oh,
yeah.
are they going to skip it? Do they cut it
Oh,
out?
but they will because it's on Fight Pass.
What's this?
Shitty.
Yep.
Because this is like
That's
this is the only one.
terrible. That is
This is the only
terrible.
one.
Yeah,
they've ever
I
done
think
this
it's
before.
the worst thing about Fight Pass is they cut
Shine.
out all the actual original intros.
Sean, you posted the YouTube video of the Tito walkout and shit from
Yes.
way back. Like, why even get rid of just that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That probably just has to
That
do
have
with
to
the
be a
amount of people.
copyright.
do the ramp. They just got to get 500 more seats.
So
that's,
top
that's
five,
500 more floor seats, dog. You know.
Yeah.
Johnny Hendricks, #1 contender. Rory McDonald, #2 contender. Then Tyron Woodley, Carlos Condit, Matt Brown. That was Matt Brown.
Oh my god!
That is a great top 5.
At
Those
that
At the
time,
time.
at that time,
Yeah, it was good. When Hendricks was at his peak, man, he was great.
yeah. You want to talk about Ecto Cooler? Like Johnny Ecto Cooler was a bad motherfucker, man.
You love barbecue, man, too.
That guy was good.
That guy balloons after fights. ballooned like Anthony Rumble Johnson ballooned.
Well, he still had the mass from the Ecto Cooler to put those pounds on it.
Yeah, he loves the Ecto.
That dude fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
To almost beating the greatest.
He might have.
Yeah, but
it's just that's how fights go. But he beat George. Like I would say that. I'd say that for the rest of my life if I was Johnny Hayes. Like I beat that motherfucker, and everybody knows it. Like I beat the best.
That's his claim to fame. Because after that, fucking fell off a cliff.
Yep.
I mean, he had the Lawler fight and stuff like that.
I feel like MMA math is also like the damage argument as well. Like, I don't know. Like you look at him, I'm like, well, who won the fight?
No, everybody knows Hendricks really won that fight, man. I mean, but judges are judges. It's MMA.
It's a lie, Wes. It's a lie. If you judge round
I know he's your
won.
guy. I know he's your guy.
We know Canada hasn't done anything since. So we got Felicia Spencer. It's about it.
That's fake Canadian. She ain't real Canadian. That chick's from Florida. She ain't from Canada.
Yeah, if you say so.
Brad obviously must have some issues with his internet. Keeps bouncing in and out every once in a while.
That's okay.
Is it snowing up there?
My internet is atrocious. My wife starts a new episode.
Of what? Episode of what?
I have no idea. The Good Fight, is that a thing?
The Good Place?
The Good Wife?
Place.
No,
What?
not The Good Place. The Good Place I know. The Good Fight's
The
some
Good
like
Wife?
no, it's some lawyer show.
Oh,
fuck.
sounds terrible, Brad. You gotta work on that.
I don't care. I'm watching this.
Oh, yeah, this is way better. That's true.
That is stressing the internet. You got Fight Pass, you got fucking Netflix, and you got streaming on here.
My wife says she's
I downloaded it. I downloaded it.
Shit.
I'm trying to stream the fights. They're working better now. I don't know. The wife's running something. She's playing a game and shit too. So earlier my shit was cutting out, but now it seems to be fine.
She does internet gaming.
She plays shit on mobile.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what else she plays.
Yeah.
That's all she does. She's
The
any second
women
she's
play
got.
terrible games on the internet. Who are we kidding?
Yep. Any second she's
My wife's
got.
playing some hotel game right now.
I have no idea. I don't even ask her.
I was like, "Oh, is that like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but for hotels?" And she's like, "Yes."
Well, that sounds a little better.
Do you remember how good pre-Jesus Rory was? Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Koscheck fight, he killed that. Or Robbie killed that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a
quite surprise too.
Robbie's
the one that was a surprise.
His resurrection was just a thing of beauty, man. Like I was that whole few years there, man, was so good.
That was probably one of the most unexpected rises in
He
history.
was just so up and down in Strike Force.
Everybody was behind him.
Yeah, because he was like our guy from way back, like.
Yep.
Well, because he was a fighting champion, and like it wasn't the fact he wasn't dominating fighters when he was winning. It was like he was in like all out, like he had to really earn it to win it, type of thing. And it's kind of nice to watch.
Robbie's one of those dudes from so far back that he was fighting for a couple grand in a nice hotel and shit, man. Like that guy, he's still like that. I'm glad he made some money though. He was smart. That dude was like
he didn't fight to lose. I think that's why people really appreciate it.
If you
watch the Melvin Manhoff fight when he was up and down the Strike Force.
Shout out to Corey Fischel. Lawler's his title run, it could easily be a lot worse than what it was. He went to like a couple split decisions.
Yeah, tell me his title reign. You reading it?
Oh shit! Do I have it close nearby?
I'm sure you can find it
very easily.
I can open up the second laptop and look.
Well, he beat Hendricks,
but that was a split
in their rematch, right?
I could look it up.
And I feel like, if anything, people are more certain that Robbie won the first fight than he won the second fight.
Yeah.
And then this happened where, like...
Well, yeah, so after
he
lost a decision to Johnny Hendricks for the vacant belt, he He beat Jake Ellingberger by TKO. That was his May 2014. Then July 2014, he beat Matt Brown on a fight night card. Then he beat Hendricks for the title.
By split.
And then there was this fight.
Which, we'll see about this fight. And then after
So
this
like
fight, he lost
when
the
you
split
say
to
it like
Condit.
that, it doesn't
He
look
won a
like
split over Condit.
he. When you pick up those fights, he was always at the top. But you forget when he was like fighting Bobby Volker and like losing to Lorenz Larkin and stuff like that. Like he had a period in his career where he was just like a middleweight prospect that flamed out and then became some regional like goober.
Yeah, he was like a gatekeeper and shit.
Yep.
For prospects, they was trying to break through strike force and shit.
Volker,
Yeah. And then that's why his comeback was so cool, because he was out of the UFC for like a decade by the time he came back.
Yep.
Well, look at the guys he lost to.
Yeah.
Outside of
Like literally, I've got his
Kennedy, Lorenz Larkin.
Yeah,
I've got his
that one
Tapology
He was-
out right now.
He was
and
fighting some of those guys on their come up too.
Yeah.
Like,
up a weight class too.
his last fight in his first UFC run was 2004.
yeah, 185 on a lot of those too, wasn't he, Sean? He was up at 185 when he was doing all that shit. He didn't care a lot, man. It was a check there for. I don't know what happened to him. I think maybe family kind of started
Maybe.
right in that time period. I know he got down to Florida too and started training. That changed a lot too.
Yeah, he was in like, I remember hearing a story that he was in Arizona and there was like the dry air fucked with his asthma or something.
Damn. Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds like some voodoo shit to me. But
yeah.
This is the dude that when he
That's
started,
Diego Sanchez. He had to move out to the desert.
he's been over a decade with Pat Miletich.
Yeah, Robbie was one of the original guys out there. That was their like stud young guy.
MFS, Military Fighting Systems, man. One of the original great camps in MMA.
he was supposed to be
They
the
just-
next guy after like Matt Hughes and
Yeah.
They
Rich Franklin
never
and
really
Sylvia.
evolved. That gym never really evolved. Probably one of the
No one
most.
wanted to go out there, Wes. I mean, I'm surprised enough people want to go out to Albuquerque, but like, where's Miletich fighting? Iowa cornfields? I mean, God, getting those guys out there has got to be a hardship.
What's
There's not
crazy
much left
is
out in Albuquerque now.
one of the most well-rounded fighters that probably ever came out of Miletich was Miletich himself.
He was great.
He was probably one of the most well-rounded fighters in that gym.
Him and
he got choked out by a bulldog choke to lose the welterweight title. So that tells you how well rounded he actually was.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's when that sport started evolving quick, man. Those were the years the shit started changing quick.
like pre-2002, probably the most like all-rounded guys were probably like Miletich, Frank Shamrock, and I guess like Boss Ruin maybe.
Frank Shamrock's one of the most underrated fighters that the sport's ever seen. That
I
dude
agree.
literally will never get his due for some reason.
He was way better than his brother, and
He was
doesn't
a
get
decade ahead of the sport. A decade.
Yep.
Yeah,
at least. That would have been fun to watch this guy, like not in this era, but in like the Pride Bushido sort of era. If Shamrock was in the middle of that, that would be incredible.
At his athletic peak too, would have been a good time.
Robbie Lawler's awesome.
What's the timestamp on this?
He just put his
1 hour,
mouthpiece in.
16:50.
Yeah, we're a little. No, it's more than that. Am I ahead of you now, Nishma? Now it's 117 even.
Yeah, so you're a couple seconds ahead of me.
Swear to God, she down there farming something or some shit like that.
She's crypto mining.
Hey, I keep seeing.
She's hooked up to my shit. I don't even know.
That's great. That is great.
I keep seeing Farm Simulator in the PlayStation Store, and I've been
what are
playing
you
so
doing
much.
down there, chick? Like, I'm just farming Ripple. What's the problem?
Is that Fram as an advertiser? I haven't seen those guys in a while in MMA.
Hold on, give me a timestamp now.
117:32.
30.
Yeah, me and Brian.
Jay's 2 seconds ahead.
I'm a little bit ahead now. They're introducing Robbie.
Oh, you're
Does
way
time
ahead.
happen differently in the States, Sean? Because like we're on the same time the whole time.
I don't know. Things
I
just go differently down there.
I got taken off the timestamp when Nushan said I started the show, and then I paused it, and then that was part of the problem.
To be fair,
I'm gonna
the other two guys
record
knew
it.
what the fuck was going on.
I'm gonna download it next week. I just didn't get home in time to do it.
Yes, sir.
Which I don't know why it takes Jay like 6 hours to download something.
No,
because we were doing it differently last
Dude,
week.
I
No,
did it
that
in like 12 minutes before the show.
No, this download was normal. It took like 10 minutes, but it was the other because I was dialing it directly. It's not worth getting into.
Ooh,
We don't want to talk about
Yeah.
that on here either.
mood lighting.
I know the hell's going on.
Yeah, they
I
usually
do
bring
have
down
a-
the
You know what,
lights, but I didn't think it was that much.
I know we watched the intro. Well, like I watched the intro, but not on the stream. I didn't like it. I like the old intro where it's like the operatic singing and he's putting
Yeah, I
on
like
the
the
armor. Give me
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah, I like the
Just
operatic too.
Just give me a couple highlights for every person. Not this like 15-second thing for everybody.
Was this?
Oh, he was the Red King at this point. Fuck,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Because what was he before that, or was he just nothing?
That was when he was Ares.
Aries, yeah,
Oh,
that's
right.
right.
Fuck.
Corey.
I don't know what the hell he's going with now, but he's just thumping that Bible and being less good at fighting. That seems to be his thing these days, unfortunately.
You know what the theme is in cards that are great is the dudes that just love to do this.
Yeah. Fuck defense. Offense.
Yeah.
It's all about offense.
And somehow Robbie
You gotta have a
Rory
chin.
to be one of those guys.
You got to be one of those guys and have a chin.
Yeah.
When you get two of those together doing it, then it's like, hell yeah, that's the good shit there.
All right, we're starting this one. So this was right after he beat Safadine. I remember that. He just
That's when Safadine was pumped up.
Yeah,
He was pretty good.
That's when he was on his. That was the time of the other guy that was.
Do you remember a New Year's card or somewhere
was
around
the-
there where he fought that giant Korean fighter?
Yeah, that was like the
Wasn't
first,
that one of the
Fight
very
Pass
first
card,
Fight Pass
wasn't it?
cards? Yeah.
Yeah,
It might have
Yeah.
been the very first Fight Pass
Yeah.
card.
I think it
in
was.
Singapore or some shit.
That guy was
Yep.
gigantic for welterweight, and I think Tarek Safadine beat him by leg kicks. I think the guy just like couldn't walk.
But it was
him.
a brawl of a fight.
He
That-
busted his leg to the point where he couldn't walk, and then he still almost got knocked out at one point after
That's
that.
what it was.
was that in Singapore or Macau? I think it was
I can't. I thought.
I think it was Singapore.
But I don't. That was a while
Those
ago.
were the good old days.
Blast to the past. Blast from the past. Fuck.
My memory of that time was pretty good. I don't know why, but yeah.
So they fought. Was their first fight for a belt, or was it just a 3-round?
No.
Oh, it was a 3-rounder.
That was
The first fight was a
after
3-round.
Robbie beat after he knocked out Koscheck, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was a 3-round
Oh, no.
co-main event.
He
Don't
knocked
remember
out
the main event.
Koscheck, which was the big upset, and then he fought Bobby Volker, and then he fought Rory the first time.
And it was a
Yeah,
split.
it was a 3-round fight. It was a split.
And
That was on the St. Pierre Hendricks card, another split.
do you remember? Oh, I remember. I think like it should have been a draw, wasn't it? Didn't Rory win like the first two, and then Lawler smashed him in the third or something?
Something like that.
I
Looking
thought
it
that Robbie was fine to win that. I would have to watch it again. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like just about everything before about UFC 150 I've seen multiple times, and everything after I've just seen once.
Yeah.
And
I'm
some of it
kinda
I
that way.
really don't remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
I'm around that area too, to where I just didn't have time to just watch it
You
over.
can't because
like
there's
I
fights
used to.
every week.
Yeah, I just didn't have time, man.
Every media person had that one 2-1 for Robbie, and somehow it was a split, but Robbie
Yeah.
still won.
Well, because it was in Montreal, that's why it was split.
No, all right. That makes sense.
I think Rory got a takedown in the third round, if I remember correctly.
No, Robbie got a takedown, and Robbie beat him up good in the third round.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. The first round, I think Rory had a takedown. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, not very much defense in this fight either, eh?
No.
Well,
There's so much more tension to Robbie fights when you're watching them live, because you know any shot could be it, right?
Yep.
Well, as a champion, he kind of. There's not many champions that like really put themselves like in the line of fire.
Yep.
Ever.
But he
Most of these guys
he needed
fight
to win.
lose, yeah, but almost every other champion fights not to lose, which I think kind of goes back to why people like him so much.
Yeah, and some guys are just better at that. They're better fighting like that. Their game is just better going forward and being.
Sprawl.
Given the firefight.
Robbie was never an A+ fighter. Like most of the champions are. Like that's.
I would say around now he was pretty close to it.
But he wasn't. He wasn't. He wasn't dominant. I guess that's. Yeah.
He wasn't dominant, but he was consistently beating excellent fighters.
Fighting a great crop of fighters. Yeah, that's the thing, man.
And what he does, like the brawling, sprawl and brawl style, like he did it as well as anybody.
He does what he does at like A++ whatever, however many you want to put on there.
This is like what Chuck Liddell dreamed he could be.
Yeah, no doubt, dude.
Who's that in Robbie's corner?
Oh shit! What's y'all's time?
35.
He just hit him with that short right.
All right, well I'm right on it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard your little gasp from it.
Corner at that point, and Robbie was at AT&T, right?
Yeah.
King Mo? No. Who was that?
King Mo was down there then, wasn't he?
That might have been his wrestling guy.
But it's probably Mike Brown.
He was really with that's when the guy that left down there.
Who? Henry Hooft? No.
Yeah, didn't Robbie go over to him?
Henry who?
Because he was ATT. He wasn't Black Zillions.
Yeah, exactly. Nushan's right.
Didn't he? Where
Robbie's
did
been ATT
he just
forever.
left again though? Didn't he? Didn't he go somewhere else?
I have no idea.
Go where?
I think he.
Anything that's happened in the last 5 years.
Brad's a write-off.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I thought he went somewhere else for like the Aspen
It says he's at some place called Hard Knocks 365. I don't know what that is.
That's Henry Hoof.
Yeah, I thought he went to Henry Hoof. Yeah, before the Askren fight. Yeah,
he was at ATT from
because Henry Hoof,
16.
the Black Zillions pretty much kind of split, and Henry Hoof went and started his own stuff.
So that's the new Black Zillions because Black Zillions doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
right.
Not all of them went to Henry Hoof. Some other ones went to like another gym, I believe.
Didn't one of those guys die? Like, was the head of Black Zillions
the owner?
That was the Black Zillions owner.
Yeah.
Wow. What's his name?
Glenn Robinson.
Glenn Robinson. Yeah.
Wow. Wonder what happened.
I always remember it because of the basketball.
A lot of people like spoke kind of highly of him, but he seemed like a little shit on that.
He was just a money guy.
A lot of guys speak highly of him probably because he was the bankroll, but on that tough season, he seemed like kind of a shithead, man.
He seemed kind of like a Mark Cuban kind of owner of a fight camp. Like he gave them kind of nice luxuries, that type of thing. And probably
he let them roll. Yeah, he paid for coaches.
Dude, it's Coconut Creek, Florida. Like, there's a lot worse places to live in life. So I mean,
Henry Hoof pretty much became like one of the top trainers in MMA with them, and now he's got some of the. Now he's got some of the best fighters.
Who else is down there now?
Not sure I know a good part of that gym went with him.
Gilbert Burns, I think, is there.
And he gets other guys now, like he's highly respected and shit in his.
Let me see if I can look up Hard Knocks 365.
So what all happened with AT&T? AT&T that everybody left.
They still have a lot of people, but they have like such a split, it seems, because there's guys there that literally like either they're playing a good fucking show for everybody, or like people don't like Kobe, and people that are kind of on Kobe's side, like they don't get along. Like Jorge's down there.
Some pretty good looking fighters down at
Nunez and them's down there, and he like talks bad about talks bad about all the Brazilians and shit. So
Vulcans down there.
So
they still got a hell of a camp.
It's a bunch of people that are working themselves into a shoot, Wes.
That's what I'm thinking. I think they're all like, shit, we got to play us up. I used to not think it, but I'm starting to think now that Kobe and Jorge are trying to get some dough. I think they're trying to play up a good one. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Jorge really just hates that motherfucker. But
there's Green's down there. I don't think he's fighting anything.
Turk's trying to get in.
He's fighting the bars.
Yeah. No, he's fighting on the side of highways, apparently.
He might be fighting himself.
He's beating himself up in the
there's no one else to beat up, man.
So he might be scrapping in a shower here before too long. Didn't they arrest him? Didn't they finally arrest Des Green for all that shit?
Yeah, after he fought. Oh, there's Big Turk.
Yeah, there he is.
He's gonna knock down the door if I didn't go get him.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's a little bit wrong with that.
He's got to do what he's got to do.
Damn.
Oh, enters right back to the left.
Rory and his jab and his front kick to the gut
did a great jab.
Are definitely doing a lot of damage in this.
That
fight.
little sneaky front kick to the fucking midsection is killer.
Rory had the same problem GSP did. He gets lumped up too easy.
Yeah, and then he started having structural problems, and that was
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was never the same, really, once he got his nose crushed.
Yep.
That's understandable.
Yeah, but if you can't...
Wait, what are you talking about? He hasn't got his nose crushed yet? It's like 12 minutes away.
Ew.
If you can't finish guys like him, and it's... You know, he used to just be in it with great guys, but he was the tougher dude. That nose is gone, man. It's just so much.
Oh, now it's already opened. It's already opened. Yeah.
As much as it turned out like that for him, he got out at the right time and got that payday from Bellator at the right time.
Getting Lima against him at like minus 150 or something out in Vegas was just incredible, dude.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he was that short against Rory.
I laid it up with Musasi. That was a fucking
yeah.
Because I think Rory beats him pretty easily about 4 years prior, but that's another story.
Rory beats a lot of guys before all of this. I think he was a really good fighter, man. That guy was really good.
People thought he'd be a 3 or 4 year champion.
Jesus, that
he seemed like it.
Fucked up. 40 seconds left in the second round, and he's already
literally Robbie's just hitting the same spot over and over and over. He hit him on the nose about 7 or 8 times in this round.
You can't play the long game when you got a face falling apart like that. You know what I'm saying? Those kicks.
Robbie's like, "Oh, you want to call yourself the Red King? I'll get you some red."
Make you the Red King, yeah.
It's almost like Robbie decided he's like, I'm going to hit him on the nose, and I'm just going to keep hitting him on the nose. I'm going to focus on
elbow.
Just hit.
That elbow he came back with, like Rory's he's so skilled though, man.
Jesus. Yeah,
that's
nuts. And it's not that he wouldn't stay. It's not that he wouldn't stay in fights or he quit or anything like that. He just his body wouldn't let him stay in fights.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Yeah, you got to give him props. He's one of the toughest motherfuckers.
He looks like he's already done 4 rounds.
He took a lot of damage in that round.
Jesus.
Yep.
He got hit in that nose over and over and over and opened up everything.
Robbie's just a fucking maniac.
Milicic has the political mind of a rusty steel trap. there's no doubt about that.
Oh man, I love our listeners.
There's no doubt about that.
That is good.
There's a lot of MMA guys that are going just fucking Alex Jones world type shit right now, and it's
don't pay busy training. So
MMA
they got time to put out their thoughts on the internet.
Look, hey, at least John Jones is just doing DUIs and shit. And he ain't on there going fucking full Alex Jones on the internet like the rest of these.
You know, one thing I really have to say that I appreciate, like I shit on this era of MMA a lot, but the replays that we get are tremendous.
Yeah, just video in general, like 4K, and now they're moving to. They got up to hell. They're playing video games in like 2180p at 240
Whatever
frames. It's like it's closer to like 6K and 240 frames per second. It's just ridiculous type shit. It's ridiculous. So like most people still got 1080p TVs or 4K.
We're going to be at holograms soon.
4K upscale TVs and shit. It's just
4K is good enough for me, honestly.
Ask Bo.
Oh, I bet.
Bo's over.
Oh, yeah.
Bo's over.
Jay, in the 90s, I thought the TV was good enough for me. So
Bo's going with a homemade genie sleeve in 4K, motherfucker.
The exchanges these guys are having, both throwing 3 to 4 straight combos, is fucking ridiculous. Just no defense, not really anyway, and just throwing. My memory serves me right.
This is an all-time round.
This fight, when I first saw it, was just. I kind of thought that night this is going to stick up there for a long time. Yeah,
this is something special.
It's held up. It's been a few years, but it's held up.
What was about 3-4 years ago?
2015,
2017. It might be 2015. Somewhere in there. We'll say it's 2015 to 2017.
2015, mid-July 15th, 2015.
So 4.5 years, almost 5 years ago.
Oh my god, that face of Rory's is absolutely demolished. This is where you've seen that picture of him, right? The like
the
icon.
Red King picture,
Yeah. That's the one this comes up. This is from
the Red King. That's where he changed the name.
Oh, he was already a Red King, and then this
he was
stamped.
This is when he made it come to light. Yeah, this is when he made it physical.
Robbie made it come to life.
Yeah, there you go. It's not like he went to shit though in this fight though. Like he still made these rounds unbelievably good, you know.
Well, isn't there a little bit of a kick coming soon?
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know how he can see. Like he's not wiping his face at all. I mean, I guess just lucky it's not going into his eyes, but it doesn't seem to really be affecting him at all.
The robot eyes don't feel.
Yeah, they just.
Yeah, I never was the biggest like Rory fan, but coming out of like these fights, I think I definitely had a newfound respect for him. I always thought he was good, but
yeah, we didn't know they had this in him.
Yeah, I didn't really think he had something like this stuff in him.
Yeah.
I knew Robbie did.
It's kind of a shame he didn't have a more prolonged career because, like,
we just started.
I feel like people would remember him a lot better.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that it's not age, it's miles. It's the fight game.
I mean, his UFC debut, he almost beat
Look at this! Look at this fucking!
Condit,
Look at the blood that's running off the side of his face on his neck from a punch or something. He whips his neck or something like that. It went.
Oh, it's just dripping right now. Like
it's
a leaky faucet.
It's wild.
Look at pepper on the nose.
Has he wiped his face or eyes like one time?
That's what I was talking
his
about.
Nose, anything.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Must not be.
Look, he's still moving his feet. He's still ducking punches, throwing. Look, lands. Boom. That is insane, man. Look at that, man.
Oh, that was
fuck yeah. That. He blocked that, but it still got through, eh? And then he got the body kick there.
Oh my god.
How did he not? He no-sold that fucking right to the jaw. Like,
my god.
That was so clean. And he did
Look at it. Holy shit.
Rory thinks he can finish him.
He's
fucking close.
That body kick, Hardy, man. Look at Robbie, though. Look at Robbie just throwing.
One to the chin.
Look at Robbie just throwing.
He's on autopilot
the whole time. That's all he's thinking about too, Wes. He's like, how can I just get one in?
Yep.
Holy
Smile,
fuck,
look at
that's
that.
so many smiles.
After the round.
Look at Robbie. Come on. This is what I'm talking about.
Rory had him hurt and hit him fucking clean with an overhand right, and he no-sold it while he was hurt.
Yeah. How many men does Rory finish right there? And we're all like, oh my god, that's one of the greatest finishes, comebacks
that was
ever.
Wild.
Not Robbie.
Like everybody, maybe not Condit.
Jesus, that was. Yeah.
Look at his face.
And then you've got Faraz in the corner trying to like hypnose him.
Yeah.
Look at his face.
You're calm.
Oh my god.
He's like, dude, there's a hole here where my nose should be.
That's straight through his hand.
That head kick knocks out some guys.
But that was through his hand, though.
Yeah,
it still rocked the shit out of him.
Oh, but it clapped his hand like right into his ear and everything too.
Boxed his own ear.
Boom! That right there, like holy shit.
They should show that right hand. It was.
Look at that man's face.
Oh Jesus Christ! Going into the 4th round.
I can't believe there's people that do this for our entertainment.
And for not that much money in reality.
Right?
These guys for this fight was probably paid 10 times too less of what they should have been paid, what they should have been making.
Oh yeah.
These guys should be making millions a fight.
Roy's still going for the finish.
Oh, body shot again. That body
John's thinking about it too.
Look,
John's thinking about it.
Holy fuck!
And Robbie's just like, no, fuck
that.
You should have kept going to the body.
That's crazy.
Then he goes back up to the head. I mean, look at the skill there, though. Look at the skilled striking he's still throwing with.
Leaping in elbows,
leaking out his face.
Hasn't been able to breathe.
It was like triple elbows.
He's like, well, my fists aren't doing the job. I guess I'll throw the fucking elbow.
He's got blood literally like just hanging off of his fucking mouth and chin, dude.
I mean, the live odds on this would be pretty fucking steep, Rory.
Shit.
I mean, Robbie almost gets finished in the end of the 3rd.
Robbie's eyes look unleveled.
And at the start of the 4th. It wasn't until the end of this round where he started to look normal again.
Do you see like Robbie's eyes though? They that one eye looks fucked up.
Yeah.
It's starting to
super dark all of a sudden or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks unlevel or some shit.
I don't know if Rory gassed himself out, but he all his offense kind of dried up after trying to finish him there.
You're like, why does it look like
I think he's just like, I'm glad he's not hitting me anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. We're both gonna just regain some health here. Still fucking straight right and quick head kick right after combination.
Yeah, he was great.
Fuck.
Oh, did you see the sweat fly off too?
Yeah, dude.
Like, what the fuck?
Rory's breathing out his mouth so much, he's got like blood and spit just running and hanging and falling off his mouth, dude.
Robbie's a straight up zombie. This is insane. What Rory's throwing at him.
Oh, there went the lip. There went the lip.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. There went the lip. Robbie just pawed at it a tiny bit right there. That was it.
Yep. Looks at it and he was like, all right. And
yeah,
then he just
like
takes it up a notch. That was his wake up call.
Man, that is nasty, dude.
His gloves are gleaming because there's fucking blood on them.
God. Robbie's eyes, that his right eye looks fucked up somehow.
Yeah.
It looks like he's missing an eye
puffing.
or something.
I think Robbie is the only example of a dude I've actually seen hulk up in real life.
That was a bat. I don't know why he shot there.
That left, though, that he just landed. Man, that lip is just absolutely disgusting.
Just flapping.
Flapping away.
It looks like every time he circles around to the camera, it looks like it grew a little bit more.
The only lip thing I can remember that was worse.
Rory's aiming for it too.
Was the Reem fight against Curtis Blades?
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, that was later on. That was.
I thought you were gonna say Mick Foley and Mark Calloway.
There's been some boxing matches where some guys have gotten some.
That Reem one was fucking bad.
Yeah,
I lost so much money on that fight.
Oh, that's where you went in.
Yeah, one of Nushan's best moments.
Ooh, Rory got him there.
What's that?
Nothing.
No. I thought Brad was asking me this question.
No, I just said Rory clipped him there towards the end. Yeah. But yes, that was. I lost a lot of money on over against Rosenstruik.
Jesus Christ. Rory's face.
Oh,
Robbie's lip.
Look at Robbie's back is like got blood dripping down it. Rory's chest looks like he got hit with a Gatorade bucket full of blood.
These are tough rounds because, well, this round's tough because Rory got him really early, but then...
Yeah, can you imagine if this fight ended...
I wonder what the scorecards were.
Even some of the better judges scored second halves of rounds more, weight more, you know.
Oh, this is when they stared each other down.
I think that's just like not necessarily bad judging, almost just human nature of if it's not
like this.
Yeah.
That was a hard round to score.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're probably going to remember what happens the second half of it a little more unless it's really bad in the first half of it. But yeah, some of these rounds were like, they were close, man. That was a close round.
Jesus. Man,
I mean, if you can remember the first minute of that round, Rory probably won it, right? I mean,
yeah, I think he was definitely. I think he hurt Robbie more, but I think Robbie had the volume. And the face looks fucking brutal. I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, Robbie
that right there. Oh my God,
that's
Doug,
the
that
Red King right there.
That's the video that they show, man, a lot.
Absolutely.
Robbie's lip. The pic, I think it was Capoza put up of them after this fight, kind of both standing there in black and white.
Yeah.
Robbie's lips split. Roy's just blood everywhere.
It's insane how much energy both these guys still have after throwing a pretty good amount of volume and taking a shit ton of damage.
Yeah, this particular time, two of the baddest dudes on the planet at this time in space, man.
If I remember correct, I had Rory up heading into the fifth, and he just needed to survive. I think I had him up 3-1 going into the fourth, or into the fifth.
I can't remember. I think I might have had it even. I can't remember, though.
But, like I said, some of those rounds are pretty close fight, or pretty close rounds, so it could have gone either way.
Oh,
that's where it happened.
End of the end.
He destroyed his nose, and
he couldn't handle it anymore. Oh, he
ridiculous!
Is
Look at that.
That's an amazing
he stumbles
fight.
too. I'm pretty sure he stumbles when Big John tries to lift him up.
That was just an amazing
That's when
fight.
he collapsed. That is fucked.
Rory's never ever the same ever.
No.
His career is pretty much over at that point right there. Getting that nose crushed like that. I mean, not career, but he's never gonna be
the guy.
Yeah, there's just it's never gonna happen. But after his nose got crushed, there, it's done.
I think you're right.
That was insane. Yeah, if I remember, I don't think I had a bet on this from what I remember, and I'm pretty sure I had Rory up 3-1, and then he got finished in the fifth.
That lip is so
just
bad.
A straight left right down the pipe, and he goes to feel it, and his body just collapses, just straight down the pipe, and then just that is crazy to take that kind of damage.
But that was all it took in the end, though.
Yeah,
just
all
that
it took.
But in the end, it was that one punch that finally did. Yeah, all that damage, man, to lead to that point.
I remember some people were talking shit. Yeah, I know. I got to piss too.
Yeah, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
That's exciting stuff.
I remember some people were trash talking Rory after that, saying he fucking quit or whatever. And
did they really?
Yeah, there were some, but I know people were fucking also bitching at those people, saying that like he his body just shut down.
I just remember thinking about this time, like this is about maybe the goriest fight I can remember in MMA. It's hard to rewatch. Right? I mean, we just did it, but it's hard to rewatch. It's really
especially for Rory. I mean, Robbie got rocked. Yeah. Robbie got his lip split open, but fucking we know now that Rory's like not even the same person.
No, you're right.
Fuck.
No, you're right. It's just tough to watch.
It's yeah. I wonder what the judges' scorecards were. For some reason I'm thinking back.
Yeah, I don't remember
that Roy just had to survive and he would have won. Wonder if I could find something like that.
Sometimes I wish in MMA they showed it on the TV like midway through the round, but somehow it probably finds its way back to these. To somebody.
So Kansas City has approved open scoring, and they used it at that.
I don't know if I want full open scoring, but just enough for us TV folk to be able to just see it.
I know, but
show it on the screen. Okay.
The thing is,
I know
people will be watching and then just relay it to the corners.
But I mean, it would affect the gambling, which is not a great thing. Two, I mean, it would add value from my vantage point.
Yeah.
Because then you would know and not be surprised later on. Like it would, like you know, in terms of just rooting interest and whatnot. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, isn't Glory fully open scoring? Wes would know.
I'm not sure. Are they?
I thought it is.
I heard Jay say, "Oh, you couldn't make any more," and then my internet broke, and then I had to go take a piss.
They've done it a lot more here lately. I'm not sure if every card is, but I think a lot of it is now.
So all three judges' scorecards had Rory up 3-1.
Interesting.
Glory uses like 5 judges though.
Fair. Yeah, I don't love it, but whatever.
I think I had it even going in the last round.
I feel like a fight like that, you kind of have to try to make it even if you're a judge.
Like it's hard to judge fights like after watching it 2, 3, 4 times, because they're judging it in the moment, and we should judge it in the moment too. If you've already seen it, anyway.
We have some serious bias though. A lot of times when we're judging fights.
Yeah.
Whether we think we do or not.
Of course, we all have inherent, whether it's financially motivated, whether it's just personal preference, some other bias. You don't like this guy because you like the other guy instead. Yeah, sure. Or you just prefer certain things over other things. Like if you prefer a striker versus a grappler versus submission techniques, there's no answer. I mean, so do they. So.
Yeah, sometimes I don't necessarily agree with even current scoring criteria. Sometimes I don't know.
I mean, damage plays a big part for me. I mean, I feel like almost that damage is underscored. If that makes any sense.
I'm more if it's.
I mean, if some guy outstrikes you 27-20, so what? I mean, if someone's landing the bigger strikes or doing you have to. There has to be what are we doing here?
Striking numbers.
Well, that's why
striking numbers.
The only sports where you can actually score stuff correctly is a sport that has an objective criteria. Like you put the ball across the line or the ball through the hoop.
Sure.
But you can't do that with fighting.
Unless you're literally doing like Olympic style where they're scored like boxing, where it's scored on a point system.
Yeah.
Well,
But
no.
that would be the same as being like if
Olympic
you
boxing,
hit the rim on
some
a
of the
basketball
worst
shot, it's worth
scores
half a point,
ever.
and if it's a swish, it's 2 points, and
Yeah,
making up all
Olympic
sorts of weird
boxing's
fucking rules.
I think any fighting, even the karate shit where you're literally getting points by touching shit,
people.
I don't say it's
that's
right.
even kind of bad.
Wrestling scored in amateur wrestling scored in a point system. I mean, it's better than a completely subjective score.
Amateur wrestling might be one of the cleanest, easiest thing in a combat kind of setting to score, because there's moves. There's cut out clean moves that if you do it, you score X number of points.
Well, we could do the same thing in MMA for fights on the ground. Like you get a certain number of points for half guard, for side control, for mount, for back control. Like you could do that if you wanted to. That's all they do for amateur wrestling. Like if you expose a guy's shoulders, then you get a certain number of points. If you get a guy's back, if you get control, you get a certain number of points. So,
but it's clear to me that submission grappling continues to be underscored in MMA. Like offensive takedowns, okay, those are scored, maybe overscored, but the things you do on the ground, how close you get to submitting somebody, continues to be undervalued.
Yes.
Yeah,
people don't think it counts for anything unless you do damage with it.
Transitions don't get scored enough. If you're reversing a guy and taking dominant position from him, I think should be scored more. I'm talking a lot of close rounds though, that if a guy lands like a big punch, but then gets taken down and laid on for 3 minutes, say the guy on top only lands a couple punches, he doesn't really do a whole lot, but the round is so close, but he was literally corralled on the ground with somebody on top of him for 3 minutes of that round. A lot of people now are like, oh, well, he landed 2 big punches to start that round.
Well, it depends what you do with those 2 punches.
I would be like, no.
If the guy's bleeding or the guy has
if you didn't get up in 3 minutes, you don't deserve to win the round.
That's what I'm saying though. Jay say lands 1 big punch and gives him a cut over his eye that's not bad, but it's bleeding all over the place. But then he gets taken down and laid on top of for 3.5 minutes. The guy lands 2 punches while he's on top of him, but the ref never stands it up. He just lets it go. I don't think that guy that landed 1 punch at the beginning round and even caused a little cut.
Well, there needs to be more consistency in the stand-ups and how they decide that, because they're all over the place.
That's the thing, because like under current scoring, you're probably supposed to score for the guy that caused that cut with 1 single punch at the beginning of the round because of damage. But to me, you can't get laid on top of for the next 3.5 minutes, and in a real fight, you're losing. I don't care if you cut a guy a little bit and he's bleeding. You're still losing if he's on top of
These are objective discussion from earlier. You give them a shot clock on the ground.
But you're right, Jay. It's not consistent stand-ups.
I want to give you an example, okay? We get an argument over a girl after gym class, and we're gonna have a fight, behind the school or something, right? You hit me in the face. I'm bleeding out of the eye. I jump on top of you for 3 minutes, but you have no damage. They separate us again.
Nobody thinks anybody won.
But
you show up to school the next day, and I have the big mark on my face, even though I laid on top of Wes for 3 minutes. Who does everyone think won?
We're gonna if it was me, I'm gonna tackle you again, and I'm gonna lay on top of you and embarrass you for another 3 minutes. But I'm giving you the example.
Jay sounds like a guy who's never been in a fight in school in his life.
But say pride. If it was a 10-minute round and the guy gets on top of you and you're fucking on your back for 3.5 minutes and it's not getting stood up, you know where you're gonna stay until he eventually starts hitting you with something. You're gonna stay on your back. If it's we're talking like outside of fighting, there's variables. You're right. Somebody shouldn't be allowed to lay on top of somebody for more than a minute. If you're not trying to advance and shit, we should have refs that stand it up and start them back.
Or you just set a limit once the takedown starts that you get a certain amount of time no matter what you're doing down there. I mean, there are things.
No, I think there's got to be like things you just got to be.
You got to be trying to do something.
Well, then it becomes objective.
That's what we're talking about though. All these referees are objective. Like some are standing up quicker than others.
That's a real problem.
You shouldn't some are standing up. If you're advancing and moving position and even throwing small shots and hitting a guy up against his ear and shit and moving.
Can we let O'Connor sing?
I don't think a fight should be stood up in that place. Some refs don't look at that as doing anything. It's so inconsistent.
Yeah, we're doing the songs, which is badass.
I'm surprised they're allowed to do this. I guess if it's a live performance, it's
well, they did this specifically for UFC. So,
what's time, Sean?
57:25.
30.
What'd you say?
157:30.
Yeah,
around there. Yeah,
I'm with you now.
This was a really cool live performance. I wish they did more of this. I know it costs a lot of money.
Is it just a money thing, you think, Jay?
It has to. I mean,
how much money does it cost to get Sinead O'Connor?
I don't even think money. So
I don't even think this took money. This just took Connor. You know, everybody's not Connor going to get their country person to come out and sing for them.
What are we talking about here? You do one less fight and you pay some artist to come out here. You fly them in and you do the thing. I mean, you're right. It doesn't
look. I watch a lot of boxing. We don't need rappers walking out fighters. Trust me. We need to
Wes.
We need to put an end to that shit like immediately.
But Wes,
you need Triple H coming out with Floyd Mayweather.
We need a rant. We need a rant with fucking fireballs going out, or we could just start with like some nice little cherry trees and fucking somebody in a diaper banging on a big fucking drum. You know what I'm saying? And
I remember a card. I think it was probably like Pride 19. Okay, super old card. Don Fry walks out on this like 7-level elevator scaffolding thing and just raising his arm to one side and the crowd screaming. Raising his arm to the other side, the crowd screaming. And that's like
some of the
it's so much better than anything UFC does.
They even went a little too far with some of those things.
Absolutely.
They were coming down elevators and shit, like from level to level. It's like, nah, dude, that's just too much.
Entrance is longer than the Undertaker's.
Yeah. Still better than what we got now.
I'm surprised they didn't do this again when he fought Aldo.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, they planned it all.
Give out a sync before this fight gets going to line up if you've seen that.
Right when it starts,
What's Dana's latest tweet?
Oh, he put a smiley face or some shit with tagging Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade.
Nobody needs to get coronavirus to see that fucking fight.
And it's with a picture of Andrade at the Las Vegas airport for whatever the fuck that means.
No,
that's
what he's gonna go with. That's really what he's gonna go with.
Is Dana gonna hire? Are they gonna do a private jet for all the fighters to wherever the fuck this thing's gonna happen?
No, I think he's just calling in favors. I mean, where's
it going to happen, though? They just closed down fucking Florida.
I don't know, man.
You never know with these idiots.
I would not be surprised if he got it if he got it done in Florida. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but they just today they closed
that governor is somebody's lackey that runs shit right now, and I'm telling you. If Dana put in some calls, I would not be surprised if they got that shit done in Florida in front of an empty arena. If they got an arena, I would not be shocked.
Stained.
So good.
Speaking of Trump lovers,
Chad Mendes is such a guy like this, though. I mean, he's a hunter. He just wants to be outdoors. He's kind of like a Jim Miller type.
This is not fight walkout music.
Like they're like Connor's gonna get Sinead. Like we got to give you something. What do you want?
His fans singing Olay are louder than the guy.
We can give you Sinead. We can give you Nickelback. Who do you want?
Hey, dude, don't come on.
Everyone loves Nickelback.
Don't put Stained. Don't put Stained and Nickelback in the same.
Dude, they love Nickelback in Brazil. Trust me, I hear it enough in my house. It's okay.
Stained wishes they made as much money as Nickelback.
I bet
they do.
Hey, you know what? Most rock bands wish they made as much money as Nickelback.
Nickelback's still making money, man.
Those dudes are from a town of like 1,500 people.
Goddamn,
Nickelback.
There's rappers that like we gotta make sell records
Jack
like
Kroger had a pretty
sell
good
records like Creed. You know what I'm saying? Like Creed and Nickelback.
I mean,
Make all his money and people hate him. Just hate him.
Chad Kroger's done pretty good in the lady department too, so there's no complaining. Yeah.
You know something? How people say that Uriah Faber is like one of the guys they think is the most deserving who never won a UFC title. I think based on their actual UFC careers, that Chad Mendes is actually the guy that people think Uriah Faber is.
UFC for sure. Mendes had a way better UFC career than Faber.
Oh, that's not saying.
And
more competitive.
Really underappreciated.
Yeah.
This dude was awesome.
He took the old
people. I think people already forgot that like he had Volk hurt a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Mendes was never a slouch. You know.
Who else would be on this list, Brad?
Who else would be on that list?
Benavidez?
Of guys like directly related to Faber, or just
no, like guys who best resume that didn't win a championship. Benavidez probably.
Yep, definitely throw him out there. A lot of alpha male guys.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, like I don't know, for UFC in general, Dan Henderson, he had the Pride titles and then he lost them both in the UFC.
Yeah, that was rough. That was rough back-to-back fights.
That was hard. You don't know how pumped I were for those fights, man. It was
and
it was
dude, the fact that Henderson Rampage ended up being on Spike TV was like the most incredible thing of life at the time.
That's wild.
Did it go head-to-head for something? Or what was the reason it was on Spike?
It was in the UK.
Oh.
Right. I know that, so I think it might have been because they had to do it at a different time.
Maybe. Probably right. They weren't going to do a pay-per-view at 5 o'clock.
Well, because they did. Now I'm getting like super history nerd here, but they did UFC 72 with like Rich Franklin and Okami in the main event, and it did like 150,000 buys, which was terrible for the time.
At the time, yeah.
So they never did pay-per-views over there anymore, at least for like the next couple of years.
Now Dana's deleting tweets.
Why? What did he delete now?
Oh, God.
Yeah, now he deleted
I'm so glad I don't pay attention to this shit anymore. It's such a fucking circus.
The worst part of the past couple of days, even with the bone stuff and everything, is seeing all these just little shits. They're just opinions, just all suck. They all fucking suck. All of them.
Speaking of which, Jay, after this fight, do you want to depress us all and give us an update for the day? Or do you not have that available yet?
Let's keep that off the stream. We can keep that. We don't need that on the stream, dude.
Yeah, let's all get depressed.
No.
The streamers don't need that.
Hey, man, if you had the money I did on Mendes in this fight, you'd be depressed after this, too.
Yeah,
just remembering it.
Is there anybody in here that didn't have money on Mendes in this fight?
I don't remember.
I for sure did.
I did.
Yep.
I very much remember.
Yeah, I think I've lost the most. That's not true because I won a bunch of money betting on Diaz against Connor in the first one. So
I won a bunch of money on Diaz.
I still lost a lot of money betting against Connor.
Definitely
betting against Connor back in like Cage Warriors cards and shit like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Floyd made up for every penny of it. Every penny and more. Every penny and more.
Good times.
And that first Nate fight, I was pretty heavy on Nate, but nothing like Floyd.
I got him at plus 400 in that fight.
I honestly, like, betting Nate was not me feeling confident in him. It was just like, no, I'm not. I've been betting against this guy this whole time. He just beat my favorite fighter. I'm betting against him again.
Yeah, it was definitely more of that than, I think Nate's got this bad,
I feel like Sean actually picked Nate in that fight.
I did. I got shit on it on the analysis.
I remember.
He would pick Diaz every time, though. So to be fair, it's not a. It wasn't.
Not every time.
I feel like that's actually
not every time.
What?
Not every time.
When he fought Pettis, I fucking bet Pettis in that
Like
fight.
Jay wouldn't pick Khabib every time now, apparently too.
Wait a second.
Oh,
Jay and
hold
Khabib.
on, hold on.
I love how Jay doesn't even let people talk to him about Khabib anymore. He's just like, no, this is too embarrassing now. You guys can't do it to me anymore.
Except Jay picked fucking Ferguson against him.
That fight's not happening, Nushan, so it doesn't even matter.
That's the only reason Jay keeps picking him.
True. He knew it was cursed.
Of course I
The
did.
fight's never gonna happen.
That's him throwing the juju off. That's him like, I'll pick against him in this one because it's
I
never
like how
gonna
Faber's in the crowd for this fight.
Yeah,
He's not
why is
part
he
of
in the crowd? Like, you think he'd get... And he wasn't even, like, in the floor seats
Because
either.
Justin
He was in the
Buchholz
side
is the better
seats.
corner man.
Well, Justin Buckle. Do you hear that Calvillo left Alpha Male? There's definitely some drama there.
No,
I don't care.
Somebody slammed her.
So many people have left Alpha Male.
She left Buchholz, right? Because Buchholz already left
All right.
Team Alpha Male.
Yes.
It is the start of the first round between Mendez and McGregor.
Mhm.
I thought Mendez was going to absolutely smash him in this fight.
Yep, me too.
Connor at 145 was
Especially with how the fight started.
And then
he got him down and he smashed him. And
He's
he was
taking him
throwing
down with,
fucking
like,
heat. That's the big thing that we learned in this fight, though, with how good of a chin McGregor has.
Yep.
Because Mendez fucking cracked him. He just
Was this
did it there.
Mendez's first fight after the
I
5-rounder with
he
Aldo?
was this dude for like this is terrible.
I mean, he had a 5-rounder with Aldo and probably one of the best fights in UFC history
Yes. Top 5 for sure.
Yep.
in terms of just actual skill. Yeah, it was awesome. So we all thought like, oh, this is Mendez at his peak. He went
Well,
toe
but
to toe with the great one.
then we were like, oh, this is also like the perfect timing for Connor because he's doing it on short notice, like 2 weeks.
Right.
And there were all the rumors about him like being out hunting and shit like that, and like
Well,
not
he probably
training.
was.
And
The problem is Mendez was coming in on how many days' notice? Like
Not a
that's what I
lot.
was saying. Yeah.
10,
Yeah.
14. He already
And I
looks
mean-
tired. It's a minute and a half into the first round.
Yep.
At this, this would have been an interesting. I mean, it was a really good fight. It would be interesting to see this fight if Mendez was actually in a camp,
It's too late, unfortunately.
because. But I don't know.
Connor's landed some really good stuff to the body already. Today.
Yeah, he already attacked
could
the body.
see
He's
Mendez
just so
huffing and
accurate.
puffing.
Yep.
Oh,
I mean, look, Mendez
That
looks
chin.
thick around the waist here. You can't.
Yeah, McGregor has a really good
at
chin
all.
too, which is crazy
Unbelievable
that.
chin.
Well, it's just crazy that Habib dropped him. So
Yeah, that was one of those like you didn't see.
that was a
coming
balance,
ones.
Jay.
okay, if you guys say so.
How would Habib do against Jen Gleason, Herculano Alves?
Oh shit!
Huh?
Talk about Gleison Tebow.
Oh,
Oh,
that's I forgot. That was a decade ago.
Like Connor just eats these absolute fucking hammers from Mendez.
Yep.
But then the
That
takedown.
wrestling though.
I was a guy that could cut all that weight, man, and his chin still held up crazy.
This was the fight where you
145,
saw what Mendez did, and you said, "Well, Habib could easily take this guy down."
Yeah, but
I still think
got
Connor
a lot
145
better with
was-
takedown defense after this fight.
I feel like, honestly, I don't think I'm still bitter
Oh,
at
he
at
cut
McGregor
I
anymore.
forgot about
Yeah.
that.
I think that's the only
But
time he's been
I
cut.
feel like this fight just sort of helped me no sell him for further
Another
his
one.
career.
Oh, stop.
Absolute fucking bombs from Mendez and,
Oh.
and McGregor just eating them.
Problem is that McGregor's
What's
a
your
weight class
time? What's
bigger
your
than him.
time, Sean?
156.
Yeah, 157 left in
I
the
don't
second
even
round.
know how the fuck
First
I get
round.
behind.
Where are you at, Wes?
I don't fucking know, man.
He doesn't even know.
Oh, Mendez is just completely
that
gassed at
body
this
work
point.
is just nasty. I mean, good on Connor. Like he knew this guy was coming late notice. Attack.
You
the
could
body.
see him breathing so heavy, though.
Yep. Yeah, like Mendez has the
mouth's
ability to explode and land on McGregor still, but
it's in short bursts.
yeah.
It's like Yoel Romero, like.
Oh,
This
and
first
right
round
back
was
to it.
definitely a lot less dominant than what I remember it. I mean, it's a good round, but
Well, he gets. This is why you think it's dominant because he gets a takedown and lands a couple good elbows.
right,
He had several takedowns.
And look at that guard pass too.
Yep.
He fucking instantly moved to
Yeah,
to
like that
side
makes
mount.
it look like he's got a shitload of energy.
Yeah. Yeah, Connor's got a lot better on the ground since then. I mean, he put up a somewhat decent fight early on against Khabib.
Yeah, the first round.
Yeah.
At least in terms of the grappling defense.
Yeah.
Second round, not so much. Man, McGregor looks so much younger here.
He's fucking tiny compared to what he is now because he weighed
Yeah.
The 45.
fewer years
Yeah.
of
they
coke
cut to
too.
45.
That's crazy, right?
Oh, and he goes for a sub here.
Yeah, it was a dumb decision.
That was a very dumb decision.
Not really.
Just kept on.
He should have kept punching on the
Like
ground.
he knew he wasn't gonna finish him there,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
unless it was a sub.
And
Should've
I guess
kept
he was
going after that
confident.
eye.
He was confident in his wrestling that he wasn't going to get like swept or anything like that.
Yeah,
You should have just
And,
kept
like-
going for that eye, man.
you know, based on what was happening on the feet, he was getting kicked in the body a whole lot. Like,
Yeah, true.
Let's-
enough.
and he landed a bunch of shit and didn't knock him out. So he was like, yeah, some ground and pound's
that's-
probably not going to stop him.
That's the elbow that split him open.
Yep,
Fuck, that was
there's the
nasty
elbow.
on the
There's
ground.
the eyebrow cut again. Yep.
They got some great shots in this event.
Yeah. That was really good camera
That
work.
canvas
Yeah.
is so stained.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this. I wonder what the live price is here because
I feel like it would be pretty accurate. Like it'd probably be a little bit favored towards McGregor just because of how tired Mendez looked.
yeah, like I would have to assume that the bookies saw that even with the.
But there probably would have been a bunch of people betting Mendez because
Oh,
they're like,
fuck yeah.
oh,
They're
he,
like, oh, he's
he got
gonna
him down at
wrestle
the
him.
end.
He's gonna wrestle him.
We could
I wish
barely
we could
get
have like a timeline of the Twitter timeline for this fight
Yeah.
scrolling up the side.
Herb giving Mendez shit for trying to like choke him or something. I forget
I
what
don't know what it
McGregor
was
was
for.
complaining about. Just McGregor gives no fucks.
the capoeira.
Like this
like
time where
right
he
about
was-
this moment is when I knew that my Mendez bet was
Oh.
absolutely dead.
yeah.
I was just like, oh fuck.
McGregor
Like end of the
just
first
gets
round,
hit.
I had some hope, and I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah. McGregor gets hit absolutely clean a shit ton of times in the first round, gets taken down, and is completely fine in the second,
Yep.
other than a little cut. It's like, Jesus Christ. That's
Oh.
as hard as Mendez is going to hit him, so we're
Yep.
kind of fucked here unless
That
he can
was the
wrestle.
problem. He just didn't have the power to.
Give me the
He
time,
almost put him
John.
out right there. Jeez.
415. Fuck, that was a good takedown.
Even this takedown, like it didn't make me feel good.
No,
Just like, yep.
like that was perfect timing for that takedown, but
He got it, but
he kind of
like,
fell into it.
There's a long fight ahead. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the second round.
Says he already got 4 takedowns in this fight.
He did.
Jesus.
That's true.
Oh,
does he actually get up or
Nice
does he
landed.
get stood up?
No, he gets up.
He gets up at one point. Yeah.
Yeah. Our buddy Derek. Coke will age you. Yeah, I guess that's
That's what I said. Man, this is a lot of years of coke
you,
ago.
you can't visit too many tree houses and come out the other side with a good look.
Well, we
Oh, I
said
think
this
he
is
was complaining about
2015, so
headbutting
this
or
is
something.
like, if he's been doing coke all that time, that's like 4.5 decades, man.
Dude, 70.
Jesus.
John Jones is like 150, but so what?
I don't remember Mendez doing this much in the second round.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I
He didn't
not
do
at all.
anything though.
No, but I mean,
No,
he has
but
top
like
control
he was
when
on
he's
top
landing
for a
shit.
long
He's-
time.
Yeah, it
he
was a
landed
lot.
several decent elbows. Like I remember the second
another-
round ending a lot sooner than this.
The problem was as soon as McGregor got up, Mendez was toasted.
He's huffing and puffing right now on the.
Yep.
On
Yeah.
It's a fucking Jackson Pollock. Like somebody from the scoreboard was just like flicking a paintbrush down onto
Yeah.
the canvas.
Yeah, you get
There's
that
just
from
blood
the aerial
splatter
view.
everywhere.
It's fucking nasty.
the ref about the elbows, the downward elbow.
Oh, I don't remember that. Is that what he's worried about?
Mendez is bitching about something to fucking hurt.
About the elbows being illegal.
Elbows,
Yeah, but those are straight legal.
Yeah.
So Mendez is an idiot if that's the case. If that's what he's complaining about. He's still fucking landing.
Well, I think he's staying there on the top of the top. I don't know. I don't know why.
I think Mendez, to this day, I still think Mendez with the full camp gets this done.
I do too.
I do too. He doesn't gas like this with a full camp.
It's a fuck ton closer. That's all. Jesus Christ.
Not sure I trust him for 25 minutes.
I know. Even in peak, because he just lands hard stuff and it just doesn't seem to faze McGregor at all.
Yeah, because they're a different weight class. That's the issue. I mean,
well, we remember
McGregor. I remember giving McGregor shit, complaining about trying to get stood up.
We remember Connor's gas tank not long after this at a bigger weight class.
I do like that Herb told them both, like, fuck it, like you're fighting. Just keep
wasn't there
fighting.
talk of like Mendez taking some sort of medication before this fight? I thought there was something like a prescription.
I don't remember that. Like anything that was about drugs, I never paid attention to because I don't give a fuck.
No, not like a drug, but like like medicine for like.
He could have just stayed and
take whatever.
He could have just out there or in guard there, and Mendez completely fucked up.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, he went too high again. This happened.
This is where he fucked up. He tried to go. He went Hail Mary for a fucking guillotine, or
And now he's in trouble.
Now it's all over.
He's gassed. Yeah, he's completely gassed.
And how is McGregor have this much energy at fucking this weight class after just getting smashed for like 2 rounds?
Coke.
2 grams in a Monster.
It all makes sense now. Holy shit!
Fucking just hit him again. Just no-sold it.
The guy can't even move. McGregor can see it, and it's over.
Oh, that is insane.
I'm saying, like,
how does he have that much energy?
Herb could have let. There was 10 seconds left in the round. Herb could have let that go.
Nah, he was.
Gas tank got bad in a couple fights at weights. I think this was his peak weight. He had to like stay in legitimate great.
Who just ran into the cage to go up to McGregor in the yellow dress? What was that?
I missed it.
Yeah, so I don't know who that was. Stupid Kavanaugh. Oh.
Yeah, the most
overrated coach in the history of combat.
That was a fucking commission check because she had surgical gloves on, Jay.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin.
Oh, there I can see the boots now.
Man, like, there's no more.
I can see the badge. She's from the fucking CSI Vegas.
Wow!
Every time somebody pulls out a fight now, it's Kavanaugh pumping up McGregor like he's gonna take the fight. He's gonna take the next fight. He's gonna take the next fight, and he never takes the fight.
Of course he doesn't.
It's a joke, dude. I hate that guy, man. Like everything he has, he's still McGregor. I get it. I mean, do your thing, bud. But
yeah, but that's like McGregor talking shit. And plus, McGregor's actually taking the shit seriously, donating money to causes.
And it's just coaches out here trying.
And then you see moments like this where like McGregor's actually appreciative of the success, and like he's basically telling him thanks for taking the fight on 2 weeks' notice. And
but this is also
giving me this platform.
This is also before he got mega.
It's pretty clear Lorenzo's big on the
fame and money will change a man. If you ever need a fucking example, we're watching one.
I always thought it was great how McGregor's like, I only talk to billionaires. I'm not talking to Dana.
that was
their best quote in the history of
anything to shit on that piece of shit. I'm all for.
Lorenzo's a solid citizen.
I mean, the UFC was like peaking.
I really didn't appreciate how impressive that finish was.
Yeah,
when it first happened, that was an excellent piece of work.
Connor 145 was a great.
Yep.
Like nobody was beating him at 145, man.
He just couldn't.
I think all those still could. That's the one guy. You'll never convince me otherwise.
You don't think Holloway could have beat him?
Take off that fight they had. Take off that fight and run it back. I think I would still say Auto, but man, I don't know after that.
Holloway would beat him, Brad.
I don't know, man.
It's too late now.
I don't know.
The thing is, Max wins this fight in rounds 4 or 5 when McGregor
at 45, possibly. Any higher than that, I don't know anymore.
That's fair.
No, I mean, Max, we've seen what happens when guys got some power and shit up a weight class. But
it's one time.
I'm just saying, I don't think Conor was, I don't know, 155, but man, when him making 145 like in this fight fairly easily, that guy was good, man.
Different time though, man.
He was really fucking good.
Lorenzo's just fucking fist pumping. He's like, so much money.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna make me so much money.
I still.
Can you imagine how fucked they would have been if Mendez won?
Oh yeah,
like the conservative American dude that was out hunting and then came back to MMA and beat their giant cash cow.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They're gonna swoop back in. They're going to swoop back in and have the UFC and a fucking NFL franchise eventually.
They sold the UFC for how many? They bought it for like what, $4 million or something like that?
10 million maximum.
2 to 4 million, and they sold it for $4 billion.
Yeah. They're going to come back and buy it at like 750 million and buy an NFL team.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good card. That was pretty good.
That was fun.
I forgot how good that card was.
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, there was like I remembered the top 2 fights and Bermudez Stevens, but then like you guys reminded me of Almeida Pickett and like even the Gunner fight. That was fun too.
Yeah, you usually don't get 2 good title fights back to back. It's hard to get those.
No.
Yeah, usually one's shit or okay, and the other one, if you're gonna have one really good one, I don't know if there's ever been a card with 2 back to back.
Look at fucking Flowball with some hair and shit.
Oh shit!
Like back in the day, son, he still got hair. This before he's knocking out boxing legends and shit.
Yeah,
5 round decision on anyway.
That's just so sad.
Flop off
beat fucking Paulie Malignaggi in bare knuckle boxing.
How crazy is that?
Oh my God, Gunner's actually smiling, sort of like not
sort of.
That's a smirk.
That's
really.
Oh, there it is. I seen it.
Oh shit!
There are teeth. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who are all these people?
This is Conor.
That's his family.
One's his mom.
That's his mom.
One's his fiance. One who's touching. 2 are.
One had her arm around.
Probably are having his kids.
The girl, his fiance had her arm around Flawboff. Who knows what's going on there?
That was clean, man. That left was so clean. Mendez just completely gassed.
He gassed 2 minutes into the fight. Not even. It was a minute and a half. You could see his mouth open wide, breathing heavy.
I mean,
it's crazy though, because he gassed in the first minute and a half and then proceeded to win the next round and a half.
Yep.
Even the knockout, like the left clean as hell, he didn't like completely knock him out or anything. It looked like
no, I hated that they called this a knockout at the time.
Yeah, it looks like he just falls down from pure fucking exhaustion.
Yeah, it's a TKO.
He was hit, but it's a TKO. Let's be honest here.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
That's a clean left. That's for damn sure. This was the first like big McGregor fight that he actually. Wow, this is like the one that first made him.
I really liked slightly humble McGregor a whole lot more.
Well, before we started calling him McNutty.
I mean, fame and money and drugs, just a crazy combination, dude. It'll run the best of us.
Yeah, I guess.
So, at this point in his career, what are our McGregor takes?
He's good, but probably would have lost to Mendez if it was a full camp. And
we all thought Aldo was going to
lose to Aldo.
Fight. Yeah, exactly.
At this point, I thought Aldo was going to beat him.
Yep.
I thought Aldo was just
we all did.
At this point, I thought Connor was having a rough time making weight too, like even making this weight. I mean, he was looking like drawn out at times, but he always performed. I thought if it got late with Jose, he'd be in trouble. But
yeah, I still, after this fight, didn't want to believe that he was the guy. And like, if we're honest, looking forward to his career, having competitive fights with Diaz and stuff like that, like, was he ever really still that great fighter that knocked out Aldo? And like, that's to me one of the biggest what ifs. If Aldo comes out and fights that fight as Aldo and beats him and goes on to, like, what happens?
Yeah, or Aldo.
Frankie Edgar.
Or Aldo fights this fight and Connor like still pulls out a win against Aldo,
but a competitive one.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure it's more sellable than that knockout was. It would go a whole lot more on his resume for me for McGregor than that was a hell of a knockout and it happened. I would have put more stock in McGregor beating Aldo over, say, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. I'm like you. I'm
like any sort of sustained superior performance.
Yeah, I'm still not totally convinced, even to this day, if Aldo. And I'm even not one of the people that think Aldo was really nervous for the fight per se or anything, but I think he was kind of angry, and he did overextend to a bit. I still think Conor absolutely, caught him and capitalized and won that fight. That wasn't the Aldo I'd seen for 7 years up until that point. He never acted,
and yet Conor made him into that guy and became like the biggest star in
deservedly
like,
so.
People say he's the biggest star in MMA history. I don't know. Like in terms of numbers, yes, but given the time, I don't know. But Conor was a game changer.
I mean, he still is a really good 2-round fighter, especially against anybody that doesn't have ridiculous takedowns. Both those Diaz fights, he fucking smashed Diaz for a round and a half in each. It's just certain guys that if you can eat it and last, then you got a chance. But there's a lot of guys that can't eat what McGregor can throw. So he's still a really good couple round fighter. It's just I wouldn't trust him any farther than that.
He's still a straight up primary kickboxer that if he was to mess around with a lot of guys at 155, if he was to mess around with almost anybody at 170, he is going to get dumped on his neck and he's going to get his shit pounded in. Like, he's still not.
Yep. Well, we saw it there for a round and a half against a 145er.
I mean, it's not like horrible. Don't get me wrong. It's like it's not non-existent that he doesn't have takedown defense, but it's not. He's still primarily a fucking kickboxer, a very good one. Like he's really good. But I mean, we saw him against the highest level at 155. A guy that's going to stand with him, that's going to stand in front of him. And don't get me wrong, against Eddie, that was one of the best McGregor performances that I've seen. I think we've talked about that, Brad. Like that.
Oh, that was like one of the. It's not even the biggest gaps in skill, but just the biggest gaps in performance.
Yeah.
McGregor was like a 12, and Eddie was like a minus 30 in that fight.
Yeah. Then you go into guys that are gonna. That could be fight as a prime example. Guys at 155 that are well-rounded and can do it. I mean, was a flash, kind of, momentum knockdown. But, I mean, Khabib caught that dude and dropped him and shit at 155.
Yeah, but here's the
thing.
That
didn't have a huge impact on the fight.
But he took him down and literally beat him into submission.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that's going to do that, though.
I don't know. But, I mean, okay, look at the top 3. So Khabib, obviously, an absolute horrible stylistic matchup. After that, he could beat Tony. He can beat Gaethje. Like, he's not.
I think he probably beats Gaethje. I think he could catch him. Like, Tony's he could beat Tony, but I think that's a tougher matchup. They wouldn't shock me if he beat either of those guys. I get you, I really do. But if
I think 55, he can be the best, maybe, other than Khabib. But at 70, he goes up and he gets smashed by everybody, pretty much. Everybody decent.
Yeah, he can't go to 170. Like even guys that aren't going to primarily try to take him down to wrestling are going to hit with big power up there. We've seen him balloon up a little bit. I think Conor's looked as bad as he has when he balloons up like that, though. Like he looks slow and sluggish and shit when he puts on that fucking mask.
Yep.
I hope that Gaethje fight happens.
Against who, Conor?
Yep.
Oh man, that would be nuts.
Jay, are you putting together numbers or something? What's going on here?
He's got the spreadsheet out.
I got the spreadsheet out. You guys, I'm letting you guys talk. You're the experts, right?
So
we're letting Dr. J do his thing over there. Sean J Primetown. Jay
right.
Guto.
Someone's got to do real modeling here because those graphs we've been seeing on TV are pretty bad.
Experts aren't fucking doing it. That's for goddamn sure.
No, they're not. But that was a fun card.
Are we doing UFC 79 next week?
I think we should do another poll.
Yeah, we got to do an older card next time. I need some.
Let's do an option like a poll with 4 older cards.
Yeah,
older than UFC 100.
Yeah. That way, these guys that haven't seen anything in their lives, they can watch some quality.
I'm hoping Guy Metro.
Do we want to just do UFC, or do we want to do like prides from the same time?
We can do pride too.
I say after this next one, if we're still without regular fights, which we should be,
We will be.
I say we open it up to some pride events. Like I need a little change of pace. I think that'd be fun.
Give me them roids.
Yeah, even next week we can put together a couple UFC pre-UFC 100 and maybe a couple prides, and we'll do a poll and we'll figure out what we're doing next weekend or next week.
All these UFC fucking cuck motherfuckers that pick the UFC every time. I'm sorry. I gotta be real. It's fun though.
Expand your horizons, people.
Yeah.
Watch different things. You'll enjoy it. Believe me.
That does it. Thanks for joining us.
Good time.
Jay, give us a number before we go. Give us a number. Come on.
What kind of number?
Jay?
I don't want to give any numbers.
Break out the totals. Come on, put it on. Break out the totals now. We're done.
What do you want to know?
We need totals. What's our total counts today?
For the U.S. or for the world?
It's up to you. Whatever you think's more prevalent.
The U.S. is over 215,000 total cases, over 5,000 deaths. Looks like 5,100. It's more than yesterday.
Is that the first 1,000 death day?
Yeah, first 1,000 death day. U.S. most deaths, most cases. New to new.
How is New York? How is New York looking? Really bad today.
New York was over. It was about 400 deaths today. I think there was like a ton. I didn't even count the night deaths, but there was like the mayor said there was like over 200 deaths just in New York City in the afternoon release. So tomorrow will probably be 500, maybe more. Dang. And there's other states that are having a lot now too. New Orleans, I saw, or Louisiana was like 70 deaths today. I think there was all right.
Let's talk 90 and let's talk about something else. That's enough. That's
got enough.
Look, for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, stay the fucking side. Watch some fun.
Everybody, seriously, it's not about you and how your life got inconvenienced the tiniest little bit because you got to stay inside and not go to work and play video games all fucking day. Just deal with it. All right.
Yep. I'm tired of hearing about people being bored. Like literally, you can't find something to do.
Imagine
if this was 100 years ago or 50 years ago when there was like no electronics. Like, give me a break. Like, you can find things to do all the time.
Writing in your diary if you knew how to write.
Man, I bought a PS4 just for one game during this shit.
There you go.
What game was that?
You could get like
MLB The
50
Show.
hours. You get 50 hours out of that game. 50
Sean,
hours.
get Civilization 6. I'll play you in Civ 6.
Download Warzone on that PS4 you got, and let's go.
I played on computer, Wes. I'm way ahead of you. I got
Brad
the
just discovered
FPS and all that
gunpowder.
shit.
It's over.
You're one of those snobby fucks.
There you go, Jay.
Go fuck yourself.
It's 450 BC, and Brad discovered gunpowder. It's over.
Damn right, baby.
He's so advanced.
In the new one,
These other guys are throwing spears. Brad's got.
You get Niter.
Brad's got
Niter is the
muskets.
resource.
Brad's 1,000 years ahead with muskets. It's over.
Oh my god.
I've never played Civilization.
All right, what Civ should I be tonight, guys?
What are our options?
Just name a country, and if they have one, I'll be that civilization.
Yeah.
I mean, for as much as you like lacrosse, I feel you have to be like the Iroquois or something.
Oh, he's talking.
Do they have
I'll
native
see if I can find a
Americans?
native one, yeah.
And unless you want to be the Canadian Seven Nations or whatever.
Yeah, the Iroquois.
Yeah, the Iroquois. I don't know. We have that in the United States too. I don't know.
Yeah, it went down into the upstate New York.
Yeah.
That's why we all play lacrosse, Jay. Come
I
on.
know. You all learn.
I'm in touch with
You all learn from the native.
I'm in touch with people. Jeez, why do you think the people love me?
If not that, then I mean, I guess you could be the chosen people.
We got Derek bringing out like K1 Grand Prix and shit. Don't even get me and Brad in. I mean, we could watch some old fucking Alistair Overeem K1 Grand Prix and shit.
Yep.
I told them to send us a couple. We'll take
How about
a look
some?
this week.
How about some semi-shift fights? That could be fun.
There's some K1 Grand Prix like towards the end of those that are like loaded with guys, man. Like
Mark Hunt.
Yeah, when some of the old guys were right at the end of their career, but they were still coming back and doing it.
Yeah, like you had Peter Arts and
Ayrton and Crow Cop came back at the same time, sort of, didn't they?
Yeah, there was some good ones, man. There was some really good ones. Though you're talking some fucking 250-pound dudes that some of the best strikers.
Slanging them.
Yeah,
Melvin Manoff was there.
Yeah, Melvin Manoff was like 200 pounds fighting
four
guys that were
fucking
250 and shit, dog. And
Melvin Manoff was my height, fighting dudes that are like 6, fighting like Rico.
Yep, and knocking them out and fucking knocking them out, dude. That guy was just insane, man.
That was fun. Good times.
All right, so Nushan, get that poll out there at some point later this week, and we'll do this again. This was a fun time.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome, man. This is a really good time, and this dumb shit going on.
Good way to blow off some steam with all the shit right now.
That's right. Anyway, we'll be back. Enjoy, guys. All right.